Premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Get a Bounty paper towel 2-pack for only 99 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
With the lockout over, MLB players report to spring training today.
It took 99 days to get a deal done, but Major League Baseball is moving full speed ahead on the new year now that a new collective bargaining agreement is in place.
Clubs try to do the right thing. They want to win.
Commissioner Rob Manfred, audio courtesy of MLB Network. Players will report to their spring training facilities in Florida and Arizona today to begin preparation for a shortened spring season. Exhibition games will begin March 17th, leading to opening day for Major League Baseball on April 7th with a full 162-game schedule, adding in doubleheaders to accommodate previously scrapped series. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
And a spring tradition in the nation's capital making a comeback this year.
The National Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington will return, this year serving as an unofficial symbol of the city's reemergence from the pandemic. The National Park Service estimates the trees will reach peak bloom between March 22nd and 25th. The festival kicks off with a March 20th opening ceremony and runs through April 17th with concerts and other events. This year marks the 110th anniversary of the original 1912 gift of 3,000 Japanese cherry trees from the mayor of Tokyo. Japan remains involved in the festival. Samantha Liebman, Fox News.
And the Critics' Choice Awards air tonight. Fox's Michelle Polino has the details.
Tay Diggs and Nicole Byer host the 27th annual Critics' Choice Awards with celebrations planned in London and in L.A.
Are we going to have to leave Belfast?
We'll fight this together.
Belfast and West Side Story lead the film category this year with 11 nominations each, and Succession proving itself a powerful player in TV once again, leading with 8 nominations. Billy Crystal will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the gala, and Halle Berry will be presented with the See Her Award. The show will be broadcast live on the CW and TBS beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox News.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise, and we are here to help. We have revised Programang Salapi to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle, and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, theft signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. It's 6:06 on Monday, March 14. I'm Donna DeSuze with a look at your local news on the point. A 19-year-old has been charged for a fatal hit and run in Upper Tumon that occurred in December. Police say Siochi Elson was on probation at the time of the crash. The Post reports that Elson was speeding down Marine Corps Drive when he struck what he thought was an animal. Elson told police that when he realized it might have been a person that he hit, he did not stop to check because he was scared. 32-year-old Joanne Kabuag was unconscious when medics arrived. She later died from her injuries. Elson was charged with negligent homicide, leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, reckless driving with injuries, speeding, and driving without a license. Meanwhile, a man in prison for killing 9 people in 1983 is asking for a compassionate release. The PDN reports that Eligio Adriatico was 20 years old at the time of the killings and was sentenced to 11 life terms plus 150 years in prison. He has already served 38 years. In 1983, Adriatico and Romeo Marquez were involved in shootings at various bars on Guam. The two men also shot GPD officers during a traffic stop, killing one of them. They were later charged with killing 2 inmates with smuggled guns while serving time in DOC. Both convicts were transported to a federal prison. Adriatico asked the court last August for a sentence reduction and a second chance, saying his years in prison gave him time to reflect on his actions, and he expressed his remorse. He also asked for a release due to health complications from COVID-19. Judge Vern Perez says he would take the matter under advisement. No order on the motion has been issued. In other news, the latest JIC reports 32 new cases of COVID-19 over the weekend, that out of 187 specimens analyzed by Public Health. Additional results from other clinics are still pending analysis as of news time. There is a total of 26 hospitalized for COVID-19, 20 are vaccinated, 6 are not. To date, there have been 46,331 officially reported cases, 337 deaths, 1,812 cases in active isolation, and 44,182 not in active isolation. Those wanting to get tested for COVID can go to the Tizin Carnival grounds. The new testing schedule begins this week. It is now Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 3 and Saturdays from 8 to 11. No symptoms are needed to get tested. Testing will be offered by appointment through the website tinyurl.com/COVID-stops-with-me. We'll have more news after this.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Their services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Indoor gatherings are still limited to 100 people, but there is no longer a limit on outdoor social gatherings. Governor Lulian Guerrero signed the executive order on Friday, which adds that GovGuam employees, except for healthcare workers, will no longer need to show proof of vaccination or submit to weekly COVID testing. The executive order also rescinds vaccination requirements for interscholastic athletics. Residents are still urged to wear masks, wash hands regularly, and maintain social distancing. Vaccinations and booster shots are recommended. And the GCC COVID-19 vaccination clinic closed on Saturday. Residents who want to get COVID vaccine or booster shots can go to Aganya Shopping Center, second floor, starting 11 o'clock this morning until 5 this afternoon. The vaccination clinic will run every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Walk-ins will be accepted, but appointments are recommended. You can make an appointment online at tinyurl.com/vaxguam. And starting tomorrow, Guam residents can apply to receive government aid to help pay for the rising gas prices. The Department of Administration will be accepting applications for the Programan Salapi to eligible households tomorrow, March 15, until April 15. The program offers a one-time payment of $300 to eligible households. Some of the criteria include an income limit of $60,120 for a household of 2, at least 6 months residency on Guam at the time of application, and proper identification and income documentation. Eligible residents can apply online starting tomorrow at doa.guam.gov. And those are your top stories on the point. Now, here's Ray with your weather.
Well, I'll get to the weather in just a second. I actually went to that. I went to that website earlier today, and I just realized now as I'm looking at everything, I forgot that Mana wasn't going to be here for a little bit. So remind me to change where it says Mana Silva Tyron and actually put your name down there. And your name is
Donna De Jesus.
Donna De Jesus. Going to be subbing for a little bit as she's doing whatever it is that she's doing that's keeping her away from here. But anyway, so we're going to have a good time as we make our way through all of this. And Donna was like, I listen, and sometimes most of the time, Mana throws to you with weather, and you never do the weather right off.
It's true.
And so, it's an ism of the program, and the thing is, I don't know, there's a whole lot of stuff that's out there that I'm kind of curious about. And you're right, that the thing for the programmer Salapi. It's going to start tomorrow, but I need to send the word out. So if you work with Ed Byrne over at the Department of Administration, because this might be what the hacker guys refer to as a cron job. The application's already there on the site. All you got to do is wait until it gets to be, say, midnight tonight. But the problem is the clock on your website is off. The clock on your website, go to the Department of Administration right now and take a look. There'll be a little clock on the top, and it says that it's Saturday about 7:20 in the afternoon. 7:20, maybe 6:20 in the evening. So late afternoon on Saturday is where the thing is. Now, this is not a thing having to do with the change in daylight savings, which happened overnight. It's just somebody's got to go reset the clock. Frankly, if you take a look at the time hack on this radio station, we got to reset the clock as well. But I tried to do that a few minutes ago, and it's one of those things where it's like, this is going to make me reboot the computer. It's going to be one of those things, and it's a reboot. I checked it this morning. It's a reboot where you get that little dot on the power sign. You know what that means? That means there's an upgrade waiting for you. So at some point, it will either upgrade itself, and I have no control, or something critical in the system is just going to stop. You know how it is. You know how it is on Mondays. You know how it is with Windows. Isn't Windows great? Isn't that just the best thing? All right, look out your window. Partly sunny skies in today's forecast. Highs near 88 degrees. East winds 13 to 18 miles an hour. Let me see if I can call up some weather map for you so you can see what is so to get really, really excited about out there. Wait. That is not the weather map. Hold on. This is the weather map. All right. We've got partly sunny skies. Winds up to about 18 miles an hour, gusting as high as 23 or so today. Still a bit, it's not up in the clouds up there, but it's going to bring some decent weather for us. Tonight, some clouds. Overnight lows of about 77 degrees. East, southeast winds 8 to 16 miles an hour, gusting as high as 20. Into the week, mostly sunny tomorrow. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for tomorrow night. But that was in there for Saturday, and we never got scattered showers and thunderstorms. We got some isolated showers moving through here, but otherwise Saturday and Sunday absolutely perfect for grill marks. Heat index today going to be about 92 degrees. There's a high fire danger rating in the forecast, and there's an oh my God, the house is going to get hot for danger rating in the forecast as well. A sunrise this morning, not until 6:29. Sunset tonight, way off, about 6:31 this evening. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 67.5 years.
Introducing the phone that makes Epic the standard, the Samsung Galaxy S22. This Galaxy is oh so beautiful and now available at GTA. Get the Samsung Galaxy S22 on HPO with the Live Limitless wireless plan and enjoy unlimited talk, text, high-speed data, and more for only $55 a month. And for a limited time, when you buy the Samsung Galaxy S22, you'll receive a $200 gas card for free. Come in today and make the Samsung Galaxy and Live Limitless your Epic standard. Terms and conditions apply. GTA. We start with you.
Half a day, this is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. The Biden administration is sending another round of 4 free COVID-19 test kits for everyone in the U.S., including Guam. This means getting tested for the virus can be done from the comfort of your own home. To order your free test kits, visit covidtest.gov. Do your part to stop the spread.
This ad is paid for with government funds by the Office of the Government of Guam.
Portions of the program brought to you by our friends at American President Lines. APL, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the team over at Wendys with their new hot honey chicken biscuit. That's spicing up your morning. Here's the way it works. All white meat breakfast chicken filet, and then they drizzle it with hot honey sauce. There's the drizzling sound effect. No, that's not a sound effect. That's exactly what it sounds like when honey is drizzled onto a piece of chicken fillet. Fluffy buttermilk biscuit encloses all of it, holding it for you. They put that there for number one because it adds flavor, and number two, keeps your fingers from touching the meat. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new hot honey biscuit for breakfast. Only at Wendy's. We got you.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
The gaslighting, it's here. The gaslighting. He's the president of the United States, says the price of inflation and gasoline has everything to do with Putin. Bad man Putin and the war in Ukraine with Russia. That's what it's all about. There's a lot of different ways that I could start the program here today, and it's a Monday. But we're just off of, number one, a great weekend, and number two, a no frowny face Friday. You remember that, where we're not doing frowny faces on Friday? So here we are on Monday, and I tell you what, it was one of those things where I pick up the phone so I could wordle, and then I wordle, and then I do some Facebook, check out some Instagram, hot Asian chicks, surf around, and I'm having a good time there, and all of a sudden, hey, you know what? I've been to everywhere. In the regular social media. Maybe I'll see what Twitter has to say about things. And you just go, oh, my God. What's the matter with these people? Are you all brain damaged out there? Is that what's going on with some people? Just brain damage. You get the president of the United States. I'm so sick of people saying the price of gas is high because of something that I did. It's all about Putin. Excuse me. Take a look at the graph. Take a look. The day after you were inaugurated, the second day in office, the price of oil started shooting up, and now all of a sudden it's in record territory. And a lot of guys are encouraged now by some of the signs that they're seeing because what was it yesterday? West Texas crude trading at about $109, and everybody says, shoo, it's settled down. No, it hasn't settled down. It's going to get worse before it gets better. You people are out of your mind. In the meantime, here's the other gaslighting part. I'm to the point now where, if anything, if it comes from ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, anybody, and even the stuff coming out of Fox these days, I'm not so sure about. CBS did a poll. Do I need to go any further, or are you already? Oh boy. Okay. Suspend disbelief starting now. 3, 2, 1. A CBS News poll out says overwhelming support for sanctions on Russia's oil and gas. Well, we knew that. And the willingness to pay more as a result. So here comes the gaslighting, friends. If you are not willing to pay more for gasoline and virtually everything else, because there's the supply chain is going to take another big hit. What with the war and things, we're not going to be able to pull things out of the ground right now. Why not? Because there's a Russian tank on top of it. That's why we're not going to be able to do that. A kind of widespread sentiment we don't always see in public opinion these days. Bipartisan, cutting across race, region, and even income, according to the CBS pollsters, that say we are willing to pay more for a gallon of gas as long as we can put Putin in his place. Joe, how do you feel about paying more for gas?
Ready, willing, and able.
For America.
America.
We'll do it for America. And the pilgrims, huh? That's what we're going to do. And all of the men, women, and children in the United States of America, so that we can have a more stronger and secure future. We'll be willing to pay. What's the going price for a gallon of gas now? Is $6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder when that's going to stop, because I haven't found anybody. I mean, I could tell there was a little bit of sarcasm in your response there, Joe, but I haven't found anybody that's willing to pay any more for anything, even with all of the free money that is going to get rained down on us here in just a little bit. Anyway, so let me make some introductions around here, because we got a bunch of new names and faces. The real Joe gets the phone when you call 671-888-8255, 888-TALK. The meme machine is online and working. I might be able to scare up a couple of interesting memes and some stuff that I managed to steal myself from over on Facebook. Bob Kelly, and I'm trying to figure out whether he's trying to help or not. Bob Kelly is in the U.S. mainland and apparently found his way into a grocery store where he found $2.99 milk.
Wow.
$2 a gallon. It looks like a gallon of milk.
Maybe.
$2.99.
Pint.
So... Little tiny bottles. You just
cream, sir.
Just like that. Like when you're with your little girl and she's making you go through that tea process. You drink out those little cups. Right? 6:21 in the morning. The other voice that you're going to hear throughout the course of the morning is Donna De Jesus. She's going to be subbing for Mana over the next couple of weeks. And now Donna, could you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Man, you didn't tell me you were going to interview me.
No, because Donna and I worked together on and off for 5 years or something like that, and she's and I'm not just snowing her on because she's coming to work at 5 o'clock in the morning to do news, but she's absolutely terrific. There is not one thing at a radio station that she hasn't figured out how to touch and make better like the opposite of the Biden administration, where everything he touches turns to crap. Well, everything Donna touches turns to gold. And there's she can write commercials, she can produce commercials, she can sing the jingles, and schedule them into the machine, play them out on the radio. She's an actual broadcaster through and through, and I'm delighted that you're going to be helping out with us this morning. So now the deal is, here's what we're missing now is Mana was born in November. What's your zodiacal sign?
I'm Virgo.
Virgo. We're kind of used to having a Scorpio in here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you make adjustments? Sometimes. Okay, sometimes it'd be I'll walk into the office and I'll say, "Hi, Donna," and you go, "I'm not speaking today." Well, we might need some of those moments. So if you can, and sometimes you will find that I will get kind of looking for the middle on something, and or I'm just trying to be nice to somebody, and now Mana will shoot me a look like, "Go for the jugular. Go for the jugular. The main veins are exposed."
I thought you always do.
Well, I just know what. Sometimes it's nice to have somebody that what's the word I'm looking for that will egg me on when I need it. Anyway, 6:23 in the morning, 888-255-797-8255 for the Mean Machine. She's a Mana Donna. Let's see what everybody got to say. Let's wake up this Monday crowd. Would you, Real Joe?
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. They're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
6:24 in the morning. Maybe you want to have a thing, maybe some kind of a special effect or a button that I can push on that when like this. One of my favorites here. This Homer Simpson. So whenever somebody says, "Ray, you got that right," sometimes I'll remember to put that on there just because it's so exciting. I think there might be a couple of others that we've got that are fun to play around with. Anyway, like a gaslight. Do me a favor, Real Joe. Look it up. Gaslight. .gif. And see if you can find something, gaslight.gf. And that way I can put it up on the screen whenever I'm feeling like I'm getting gaslit. Like when Berg's on.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the kindest way.
Some along those lines. Anyway, 6:24 in the morning. Let's do our early morning shouts. Mark Cruz is number one. I'm using the handheld app here because, like I said, don't want to get too far away from my Wordle. I'm shooting for Wordle in 3 today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. We should do Wordle. We should like Wordle people like they do with golf. He's picked an interesting opening word today. It's orate. He goes with orate quite frequently because it's got multiple. It's got a lot of the vowels and consonants that are used, but it's never orate. As a matter of fact, today I started with orate, and I got 2 letters, T and E, from which to build the rest of the Wordle on. Hey, no spoilers, please. Nate Horn coming in saying good morning, Guam. There's Jay Rojas online. We say aloha to him. Ishmael Velez online, and it was Ismail yesterday that first alerted me to the fact that apparently the Iranians now seem to be raining bombs on either the embassy or the base in Iraq.
Oh, the Iranians.
Yeah. You remember them? you thought it was just going to be the Russians and the Chinese and maybe the North Koreans. Yeah. Forgot about the other pivot in the axis of evil. Shame on you, Real Joe. Shame on you. Rico B's online. Anthony Bennett Lohan Duenas is there. Ismail says government policies matter. The current gas disaster. Wait a second. Oh my God, this is a long one. Hold on. You know where it says see more?
Who hurt you, Ismail?
Careful. Careful, it'll see more. It'll take you to the end of the internet there. Jerome McDonald's online here this morning. Post Canteen, dude, did we get a winner in the VFW Queen of Hearts drawing on Friday nights? I just got to push that jackpot up into $1,400, $1,500 range. Way to go, buddy. Eunice Mendiola's there. Kenny Williams from Top End Pest Control. The real Joe Cruz is amongst the people here today.
Oh,
I see you online with the people here. Very, very good.
Happy birthday, Kenny.
Good. Is it Kenny's birthday?
Passed already. But
okay, got you. Well, just be complete. MT Farron is there. I got Felix Bumba and Kenneth Polino, Joanne Titano, Ken Brown saying, half a day, everybody. KUSG Aganya. I just called the Chevron station near me. Regular gas is $5.99 a gallon. Mind you, he's in California. He's in California right now, and in California, $5.99 a gallon. That's actually a pretty good price. We're seeing it up almost $7, $8 in some places. I want to say in some of those counties where like it's like all Biden Obama territory.
Oh, yeah.
Those are people, it seems to me, that are happy to do their share, to pull their weight. Just to put it into Putin's face, they're willing to pay $8 a gallon. That's right. They're CEOs for companies and all of that. Stryker Vizgomez. I love that name, Stryker. And let me see. Tony Uggan is there. Lena McDaniel. How about you, Keenan McCausland? Time changes. Yes, it's spring forward to overnight.
It is.
Yeah. So which means that we're an hour further away from our listeners in the States. In different time zones. So as an example, you get the people like Keena and Ken and everybody on the West Coast. Yeah, they're Tonduk. They're it's like, hey, where's the show? It's not for another hour because of the change in daylight savings. I hate it too. I think it's useless. Tim Zedeker's there. Dan White. I see. Let me see. Sarita Gurin. Pretty Sarita's online. Adita Camarillo. Pam Duval. That's the mom of the show. Pam, you'd like Donna. Sarita says, good morning, Ray, Mana, Joe, Jerry, and the beautiful listeners of The Point. Mana not here. You have to edit that, change it. It's Donna. Donna, Mana, same thing. Lonnie Salas is online here this morning. I got Rico saying, let's go, Red Queen. Are we not thrilled with the news from the Red Queen over the weekend?
Entertained.
Definitely. John Ray Titano is hanging out. Senator Jess Lujan.
Hey, Biba.
Have a day to you. It's my brother, my cousin Troy online here this morning. Colin Kelly saying, Kahulu. He sent me, you know what he sent me over the weekend? Maybe I'll see if I can dig it out on my my messenger. He sent me a recent video of Ray the Pig. She is huge. She's getting big. She's getting big. I mean, almost big enough she can tow the tractor around the backyard over at Collins Place. Jennifer Leanne Guerrero Mendiola is there. Hafadale Audette. Chech Uggan. I see Brad Wood online here this morning. Wadina Machi. Sarita wants to know how everyone's weekend went. Grill Marks, baby. It was Grill Marks. Can I tell you about a couple of thrills that I had over the weekend? Had the opportunity on Saturday to I got hungry and I was thinking, what am I thinking about? And I remembered I read an ad every once in a while for Chili's and all the great Lenten specials there. But you know me, I'm not like super fish or vegetables guy. So I went in there and had this triple play thing where you can choose these different appetizers. So I got the burger sliders with hamburger meat exactly the way I make it. So just seasoned, salt and pepper on the thing, and you put it between a couple of deals and some. I'm not big on onions, but they're sautéed onions, so they're just right, just caramelized. So good with a little slab of cheese on top of that. Yeah. Had that with some of that honey chipotle chicken tenders. I'm salivating now, and onion rings. And they do onion rings so good over at Chili's. So that was lunch. I thought I'm not going to need to eat again at all. And then I passed by. On the way to where I was on, I passed by the old Rotary Sushi. And Izakaya is there. It's Jimmy's Izakaya. Jimmy's Izakaya. He used to be up by St. John's, and then they moved him over to Akanta Mall, and that was a disaster. And so he and Phoenix got this new place in the old Rotary Sushi. You are going to love it. You are going to. It's the whole main menu that they had there. Might have been some adjustments there made for Bidenflation, but otherwise fantastic service and a lot of great people and a lot of great food. It's like Izakaya style eating. You just get one of everything and just sample it all, and that was good. So I didn't do a whole lot of movement yesterday. I was just sitting there, just absolutely stuffed. Am I going to the beach? I don't know. Roll me to the car. Teacher Ronnie Dionaldo online. Matt Galendez, Joy and Pinko, Gemma Bustamante saying good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a good weekend. Neats Maniari is online. Nick Pulaski, former governor. Call TC Gutierrez.
Just bring back the sunshine.
He's bringing back Koreans.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
what I
He's
hear.
doing it. They're going to call up later on and make a point about how they've got this great plan to use some of the tests and PCR tests, whatever, for the Koreans, so we can save them some money and head back to Korea, where when they get there, if they've got a clean test from Guam, they won't need to quarantine. They can
Straight home.
Right, straight home.
Yeah.
Here's my Korean hot pants.
Send
Next.
us your hot pants.
Exactly. So that's what's going to be happening. We'll talk to him about that.
Good news.
Plus, we'll get an update on Fandania. I understand that they've extended that for a few more weeks. Rick Leone is online. I get my bro Dean Bates, Rudy Rodolfo. The original Burger King is online. How about Joe Dizon, Henry Menglotnia, Aaron Pierce, Joe Dizon. I already said Joe Dizon, right? Okay. That's okay. Multiple recognition here this morning. Valerie S.A. Untalan, my buddy Dennis Benzer. No way. Dennis said Wordle in 30. Good job, bro. Chung Lee, Mark Voigtland checking in from the free zone. I got Ricky Woodall saying good morning to everybody on Guam. Ryan Trent, how's everybody doing? We can have outdoor gatherings of more than 100 now. Yeah. Without having to worry about somebody from DEH with their jackets, and they get that little Velcro flap on the back like the FBI does. Hey, we're from the DEH. Show me your cards. Simon Sanchez from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. He's going to be in the program at some point this morning, and we're going to be talking about the ridiculous price of oil and how that may impact the price of electricity sooner than we thought. Brennan Fausto is online. Ray Gibson Show. Ohana at its best. Yeah, good vibes here today, buddy. Dennis Larson still in Wiki Wacky. Silulu Bell Leon Guerrero. I'd like to introduce myself. Silulu Bell LG. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lulu Bell, and I'm counting the days until my doppelganger is removed. She's blanking our name. Dan Rasal is online. Hafa Joey Kitsu. Good morning to Brandon Glazer. This is amazing. Patty Cruz. Jose Martinez says Tucker Carlson seems to be the only one on Fox who's asking real questions about what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. No, I don't disagree, but it is kind of dizzying, the amount of spin in all the different directions, including now what's the latest thing that we're supposed to worry about is bio weapons.
Yeah.
Who's working on the bioweapons?
Biolabs. Was
Was it Ukraine that was working on with the U.S., or was it the Russians that were working on this in the labs in Ukraine? What's supposed to be the big deal here? Rico, Lefty Looney, talking points. Absolutely. I see it all. Ray Duckanayawa is there. Keenan McCausland from the upper left-hand side. Greg Baz Knight, Pat Saho, and Trina San Augustine, who's thrilled that Donna De Jesus is on the morning show. He's a mana, Donna, says Dennis. Anna Marie, back in the day, I need to purchase Kentucky moonshine distilled to fuel my vehicle, says Jerome. Yeah, it could come to that before too much longer. We start looking for all kinds of alternatives. Soon-to-be Senator Harvey Egna is online. Post-canteen with an update on the Queen of Hearts. The jackpot is now $1,357. Richard Leon is hanging out here this morning. Ken LG, doctor's privacy more important than your safety. Thus speaks Emperor Berg. There's an interesting article in today's front page of the Guam Daily Post. We'll go through some of that before too much longer. Post Canteen says steak night, Saturday, 19th March. The last day to sign up and pay is Wednesday, the 16th of March. Have your $25 ready for you. Rudy Rodolfo from Burger King says, welcome back, Donna. He's another one, loves you on the radio. Who else? Bertha Maza Cruz, James Howard. Saying, well, hello, is she single? Asking for a friend.
Slacker.
Josh Desiree Lisonko and Bertha Maza Cruz all watching the program. What's that? PSA, if you've made any COVID posts on social media that disagreed with Brandon, your name will be submitted to the government by the social media companies for, recognition by law enforcement agencies. Patrick Bumba, good morning to you as well. I don't necessarily worry about that. It's all out there. I think there's going to be too many of them. I'm wondering of the 81 million people that allegedly voted for him. I mean, I'm wondering how many of them, are kind of. Didn't you say you voted for Biden? No, I didn't. No, I was kidding. When I said I voted for it. It was a joke. Oh, what can I say? I worry about all of that stuff. State of the island. When is the State of the Island address? Did we nail that down at all? It was one of those things I promised somebody. I said I'd find out when the State of the Island address was, and I was hoping that you or Mono would have picked up on that and checked.
No,
Nothing?
I didn't, man. But it happened this time last year because it came up on my memories.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh.
it did. It came
on your
on my
memories?
Facebook memory, yeah. State of the Island.
6:36 in the morning. So much to get through, so much to talk about here today. The table of haven't even opened the book on the table of contents, just the stuff that's off the top of my head. And one of the other things, a real frowny face moment for me over the weekend was when somebody had. Actually, a friend of mine had shared a story from the PNC or the PDN about a man convicted of killing 9 people is now asking for compassionate release from prison. This is a guy who, along with a couple of other guys back in the summer of '83, the summer that will never end, basically terrorized the entire island. When I live on Raymond Sanchez Street. And it is named after the police officer, 19-year-old cop that was shot to death on that road back in that murder spree, and so it is a constant memory. I lived on that street then when all the shooting took place. I mean that was real close to home for a lot of families up and down there, and the terrorizing all over the place. You got used to the sight of police on motorcycles with automatic weapons and shotguns strapped to their back because they knew that not only were they the predators, they were also the prey of these guys. And this terrorizing lasted until they were finally holed up in the old Micronesian Hotel once upon a time, and then one guy got dispatched, and then they took care of the other 2, stuck them in a jail, and the deal should have been we're throwing away the key. And while they were inside, they murdered a couple of people in the prison, right?
Yeah,
and now this guy is going, oh, you know what? I've been in prison a long time. I think I've learned the ways of polite society, and I'm willing to come back if you'll have me. Now it is before the judge, Vern. Vern Perez, I think, is going to be in charge of this. You take the matter under advisement and hasn't issued an order on the motion. Vernon, what is there to think about? I'm sorry. This is 9 lives, and there are people still today whose lives were impacted as a result of those murders, and that murder spree that was taking place here on Guam is another one of those kind of times in our history where you could feel the island change, and I don't know that it has ever changed back from there. And the fact that they took the lives of police officers, that's a whole other thing. 6:20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll talk about that before too much longer. Maybe get some mustache wisdom on how it is possible. Because this, things like this will happen where you just, oh yeah, guess who's out of prison? You go, what? Is there a way that the people of Guam and some of the victims and the families can come out and say, oh God, not only no, but hell no. No, like I said, what is there to think about? What is this advisement that you have to take up with all of this? How do people like you and I, can we send a note? Is there an email? What's the WhatsApp to the court so we can tell Vern absolutely no, but hell no when it comes to releasing Adriatico? Unbelievable. 38 years of 11 life sentences plus 150 years, and he wants out because he thinks he's turned a new leaf. Well, how about that? No, you're being punished. Sorry, you have to stay in the corner. In 20 minutes, 7 o'clock in the morning. Are you about ready for our next big look at news and headlines there, Donna D?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's jump into it. Donna, what happened?
Okay. A traffic stop for an expired license plate led to an arrest for illegal drug possession. GPD officers pulled over 36-year-old Gregorio Jason Pangilinan and 27-year-old Roxanne Rosalina Aquino last Thursday evening in Dedido. Pangilinan did not have a driver's license or vehicle registration. Police found ice pipes and a crystal-like substance which later tested positive for methamphetamine. Pangilinan and Aquino were both charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. And some good news for Guam's tourism industry. South Korea is lifting the 7-day quarantine for fully vaccinated overseas travelers, which could increase the number of South Korean travelers to Guam. The quarantine exemption in Korea starts on the 21st of March and requires a negative PCR test. GovGuam will be shouldering the costs of these tests for tourists going back home, which is about $30 per test. GVB anticipates said the government's support will encourage other markets to ease quarantine restrictions. And no more limits on outdoor social gatherings. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signed the executive order on Friday, which also lifts weekly COVID testing requirements and showing proof of vaccination for GovGuam employees, except healthcare workers. However, the indoor social gathering limit of 100 and the face mask mandate remain in effect. In response to this, GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez told the Post that over 95% of education employees are fully vaccinated. Fernandez adds that the lifting of the weekly testing mandate will allow educators to focus on teaching and learning. But Guam continues to be in the high-risk category, and the governor says full vaccination and booster shots continue to be necessary. And those were your local headlines. Reporting for The Post, I'm Donna De Jesus.
Well, thanks very much. Let me see here. I got a meme. Due to the ridiculous gas prices, I'll put it up on the screen so everybody can see it. Due to the ridiculous gas prices, I will no longer be stopping at stop signs or red lights. I can't afford to idle. Thank you for your understanding and stay safe. I love that. Unfortunately, in the midst of all of this, and I don't know if you if it occurred to you as well, did you get stuck in any of that traffic on Marine Corps Drive over the weekend?
No, I saw the sign, man.
You saw the sign?
I did.
I saw the sign. I didn't leave the house.
Said take alternate routes. And I said, I don't have an alternate route to the place I'm going. Yeah. I guess I'm just going to have to get stuck in some of this traffic. So I'm trying to think of how it was about a half hour or so that I was stuck in that in the stop and go traffic along with a whole bunch of humanity that I think at the same time remembered the sign on the way in the back that said, yeah, take alternate routes. We're going to be doing some construction. Question I've got is how much further is that going to be going? Because it looks like they've got it, where the 76 Circle K is at the corner of the airport. It looks like they've got some of that new asphalt kind of tucked into the old road. So I'm wondering now that section of roadway is not so bad as the rest of Marine Corps Drive. So I'm wondering if they're just going to stop right there or they're going to keep going. And you guys, anytime you want to, go ahead and lift up all those index cards on the road and go ahead and put regular stripes, right? Because I think one of those things is stuck in my tire.
Thank you for the steel plates too.
Tick. Oh, steel plates. But you know what they're doing? I think on the steel plates, because we've complained about this. And I'm sure Vince Ariola heard us and said, they're actually right. If we're going to do this thing on the roadways, let's make it all level so that the manhole covers don't feel like you're chunking down, 5 inches into the roadway. And do that with the little control valves as well. Try to make it all the same height. So I think that's what they're doing in those places where they're kind of chipping them out and then putting a new collar for the. I think.
We pray.
Because I kind of whiz by at about 100 miles an hour when I'm cruising, once it opens up. Anyway, 6:44 in the morning. More on the Ray Gibson Show. We'll take a look at traffic and more on after these.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro.
6:45, is that what time it is? Let me take a quick look at what's going on in traffic. Usually around this time of day, there isn't a whole lot, but there could be a whole lot. There could be, some parents out there that are, kind of, I don't know, hung up about it. Get up. Let's go. I'm going to drop you off early because I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to run errands, blah, 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 blah. So let's see what's going on. A little bit of traffic over Big Navy in Sumai. Nothing crazy right now. We'll go northbound on Marine Corps Drive and see if there's anything there into the downtown Agutnia area. Nothing running smooth there. A little bit of dogging out traffic. That looks like a little bit of stuff over at Cars Plus, making your way towards Payless here this morning. Maybe a bunch of people buying I don't want to say storm food, but, with everything going on in the world, maybe it'd be a good idea to stock up on some non-perishables, if you know what I mean. Looking at some traffic on Adakau, Laddie Heights, down to Marine Corps Drive. A little bit of traffic at Harmon Loop. 1 and 3 running a little bit busy at that intersection right now, and then a little bit of traffic up in the back road here. What's going on there? Traffic just mild at the front entrance to Anderson Air Force Base. It's 6:46. There's your right now traffic. This is The Point.
Raise your glasses for a toast because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
Just in time for Lent, it's our delicious BK Big Fish Sandwich. 100% white Alaskan pollock, breaded with crispy panko, topped with sweet tartar sauce, tangy pickles on top of a warm toasted brioche bun. Also available, our Impossible Whopper, 100% Whopper, 0% beef. Enjoy your Lenten season with French fries and a refreshing brewed sweet or unsweetened tea. We're ready to serve you this Lenten season. Now available at BK Haganya, Tumon, Big Micronesia Mall, and at the airport. BK your way.
I see it. Ray Gibson Show until, I don't know, we're going until 10. Is that what we're going to shoot for again?
All the way.
Full 4 hours today? I think I've got it in me. Portions of the program brought to you by our friends over at Nissan, urging you to check out the all-new Sentra SV. You know, and it's one of those things where you go to some of the other dealerships and you say, hey, can I get this? And they go, hey, yeah, but that's extra. Okay, well, what about that? It's extra. Well, how about this? Ooh, we don't even have that yet. You know, everything that you want is going to be available in the Sentra. We've got rear automatic braking. That's standard. Easy fill tire alert. Standard. Blind spot warning. Intelligent key doors. Push button starting. Rear parking sensors. Loads of legroom in the front. You ever get into somebody's car and all of a sudden you realize that your knees are in your chin? Yeah. It's not going to happen with the Sentra. They got 44 inches. This is like first-class riding all the way around. Incredible horsepower, groovy torque. When you really need to power into a situation, that's the ride that you want. And you know what? Is super prices. Now, they're advertising a price for the new Sentra at $22,927, and you know they're going to do some dealing with you when you get there. So check out the rides, and incredibly, the Nissan Sentra SV at nissanguam.com.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
Lovely. A sunrise over on the eastern side of the island. It's not just Pirates Cove. This is what it looks like in the backyard over at Kim Young's place from Security Title, and the day already beginning. That's people say, why do you wake up so early? You know, so well, number one, because the morning show starts at 6. I got to be up early for that. But I got to tell you, over the weekend, I had was out before sunrise. At least on Saturday, and absolutely loved it. You see, there's some about Guam. There's a smell, there's a feeling, there's a kind of renewed sense of energy and purpose when you're out there, and then the sun comes up and you just get blown away. That's the reward right there for waking up early. Thanks very much, Kim. I appreciate you sending that out. 6:49 in the morning. Is it time for Mustache Wisdom, Real Joe?
The compassionate judge.
A compassionate judge. No. This guy, how?
He's steaming right now, I bet.
I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, he was around during that. I mean, a real dark period in Guam's history. You go to the PDN's website and take a look at that story. And they dug into the archives. I was very, very happy to see that they had dug into the archives, because that, a little bit of a trigger on what was going on and some of the images that we had unfortunately had to kind of get used to back in those days. It took me right back to, I was about 21 years old, already working in radio and at KUAM on the radio and in the news. That was the big story for virtually the entire summer. I've got His Honor Bob Klitsky on the line, and just before we get into any of the rest of this stuff, just your recollections, Your Honor, Bob Klitsky, on what things were like on Guam during that killing spree season.
Well, looking at it from a personal standpoint, when the 4 bad guys holed up in the Micronesia Hotel, which a lot of people don't remember, I was in the National Guard, and the whole National Guard was put on active duty.
Huh. I'd forgotten about that. It was a detail that's lost in my memory.
The cops were there. A cop named Darrell Caldwell was actually wounded in the process of bringing those guys to bar.
He stormed the front door, didn't he?
Yeah. And there were four of them. They got mad at one of their cohorts and killed him.
Walked around the body for a couple of days.
So these guys were really bloodthirsty guys.
Hardcore, as I said, shooting at the Philippine Scouts, gunned down a cop, any number of other things that you can pin on them, and I can't, it's in my mind the audacity of even asking for compassionate release after everything that he had done and everything that put families through back in the summer of '83.
Well, here's even a more extreme part of it. When they were in Department of Corrections, they doubled down and killed a couple of inmates, somehow managing to have someone smuggle a pistol into the Department of Corrections inside a TV set. Now, that just causes all kinds of questions to arise. Why is anybody bringing a TV set in there? And so anyhow, when they got that, there was a guy named Stranger Marcus, same as one of the bad guys, who was one of the real tough inmates. One of the perhaps guys who thought he ran the place.
This is here.
Yes, they murdered him and another guy.
Yeah, established dominance in the new territory.
So they tacked a couple more life imprisonment sentences onto the 7 that they already had, and then they were shipped off island, and now they're asking for compassionate release. They're asking for one of two things. They're asking for parole, and I suspect they're not eligible for parole, or for the governor to commute or pardon. And I think the chances of the Red Queen doing that are probably outweighed by her thought process that would cause her to say, off with their heads.
Yeah, could use the votes. I don't know, but I'm sorry. That's just me completely out of color here. But as we move forward with all of this, all right. I'm a kid. I was a kid when all this stuff was going on, early 20s, seeing what's happening, virtual lockdown of the entire island, not because of COVID-19. People just didn't go out because you didn't know. Everything felt random in all of the shootings that these guys perpetrated, and you just didn't know whether they were going to show up at the beach you were at or at the parking lot that you were hanging out in or the club that you were going to. So a lot of people just stayed home, shut the door, lock everything up, and hold up until they were finally captured. So in a case like this, how does somebody like me that doesn't want the specter, even if he tells me that he's turned over a new leaf, or has found Jesus, or whatever it is that he's going to try to convince somebody of, that he ought to be left out. How do I send a letter to Vern Perez over at the courts and say, no, this citizen doesn't want him out?
Well, I guess the first thing to do would be to call up the Attorney General and ask him to file a suit for a declaratory judgment.
I can't tell. Are we supposed to do the sound effect there? Is there the horn thing? No, not that one, the horn honk thing.
Yeah, the horn. If we're talking in the afternoon, the horn would be right
going on. Okay, continuously. All right, I wasn't sure. Sometimes your sense of humor it's right over the top here. So, but could the Attorney General, as the new journalist will say, a declaratory judgment, do something about this? Could he step in on behalf of the community?
Well, what could happen is that the prosecutor could file papers with the court asking for notice of any potential hearing coming up to entertain a request for clemency. And then he could also write a letter to the governor saying, Dear Governor, please don't ever let those guys out. And coming from the prosecutor, it would carry a lot of weight. Now,
well, are there any more prosecutors left at the Attorney General's office?
Yeah,
Candid told a story last week about a flight.
Yeah, you got to hurry to make sure you get your letter up there while there are any prosecutors left. Now, the other approach would be to send a letter to the Mayor's Council asking them to pass a resolution to prohibit Angel Sablon from testifying in behalf of these guys.
How much of your show this afternoon is already written? I'm just thinking this is going to be we're going to hurry through the meet the press the meet thing so we can get this is going to be first thing on the card and there's quite a number of people, even though they weren't around when it happened, are going to be held accountable to the rest of the community. In a serious note, though, there are still people that live here who were related to the murder victims and have very, very strong memories and will, I'm sure, harbor very strong feelings about this. Did they get a say, Bob?
Well, again, it depends on what forum addresses this, and it's very possible that no forum will address it because my suspicion is they were sentenced to life without. So the only avenue for clemency would be the governor. A governor can pardon anybody for any crime at any time if she so desires. She could commute a life sentence to time served if she so desires. But that's the only avenue that I would see that she has. And depending on what else is going on, she may very well come out and publicly say, I ain't going to do that.
You would make a recommendation that they do so. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of riled up about this. Assistant Attorney General Marianne Woloschuk argued Adriatico shouldn't be released because the motion cites federal law that doesn't always apply to Guam. In federal prison, Adriatico doesn't have access to local Guam laws and wrote his motion based on laws that were available to him, and they don't always apply in the same way to the U.S. territories. Any idea what she's talking about there?
Well, yeah, he's in a federal prison right now. And, of course, since as an offshoot of Gideon versus Wainwright, prisons have to provide libraries for prisoners. All prisons do. So you could expect that they'll have, all of the United States Code and probably the reporter for the district in which the prison is located, and a couple treatises and things like that. So if he's going to go to the library and do research, he's probably going to figure, well, I'll just use these books we got here. Whereas he's sentenced under Guam law, the fact that he's in a federal prison doesn't make federal law apply. It's still the laws of Guam. So Ms. Woloschuk is doing what lawyers do. No matter how egregious the petition is, you start out with the law, and if you can win on a motion dealing with the law, you don't have to get into the heavy-duty stuff.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll watch and see how this plays. As I said, apparently Judge Paris has got an opportunity to take it under advisement. By the way, while there's a minute left, could you give me a 30-second definition of take it under advisement? Who does he got to talk to somebody? Is he got to read a book? What?
Well, judges...
Tarot cards.
Two sentences of timeliness for rulings. A judge can rule from the bench, meaning he hears the argument and he says denied or granted, or he doesn't want to rule for it from the bench, so he says I'll take it under advisement, meaning I will issue a written decision at my convenience.
I see. So the smart thing for Dr. Paris Vern to do at this point is get your advice. So we take it under advisement. I would read that as Ask Bob Klitsky. 7 o'clock in the morning or darn close to it, seconds away from Fox News. Hugging a kiss to Auntie Lou, and we'll listen to you on the radio today.
See you then, Ray.
All right, Tall Tales is Bob Klitsky. We're KUSG. I got you. Here's Fox.
The Russian invasion of Ukraine continues. I'm Mary Corsetti, Fox News. And now there's the possibility that China could help Russia evade the full impact of sanctions.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the White House believes that China was aware that Vladimir Putin was planning something prior to the invasion, although they allowed for the possibility that perhaps the Chinese didn't know exactly what was going to happen because of the fact that Putin lies so much. The White House officials say while Beijing has tried to appear neutral, at least on the world stage, domestic media coverage is siding with Russia. And Beijing is seemingly endorsing Russian claims that the U.S. has developed chemical weapons in Ukraine, which of course is not true. The U.S. says that is an indicator that Russia might be planning a chemical weapons attack.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich, and China is dealing with its worst outbreak of COVID-19 in 2 years. Fox's Ted Linner has more.
China reporting nearly 3,400 daily COVID-19 cases Sunday.
That's double the previous day, forcing lockdowns in virus hotspots and school closings in Shanghai. Officials say 19 provinces are battling clusters of the Omicron and Delta variants. The city of Jilin has been partially locked down with hundreds of neighborhoods sealed up, while Yanji, an urban area of nearly 700,000 bordering North Korea, was fully closed off. Last week marked 2 years since the first lockdowns began here in the U.S. because of COVID-19. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
This as Barack Obama announced Sunday he tested positive for COVID-19. The 60-year-old former president tweeting, quote, "I just tested positive for COVID. I've had a scratchy throat for a couple days, but I'm feeling fine otherwise. Michelle and I are grateful to be vaccinated and boosted." And she has tested negative. The 60-year-old adding that it's a reminder to get vaccinated if you haven't already, even as cases go down. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise and we are here to help. We have revised Program Salapig to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus to Naktak, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tuman location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
A court appearance this week in Michigan for the parents of Ethan Crumbley, who's accused of a deadly high school shooting this past November.
Jennifer and James Crumbley set to appear in Oakland County Court for a pretrial hearing just weeks after a judge moved their case to trial. Both accused of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for allegedly failing to get their son help and for supplying the 15-year-old the gun he's accused of using to kill 4 students and injure 7 more.
Maybe people will think twice about how they handle a weapon and use reasonable common sense precautions.
That Oakland County prosecutor, Karen McDonald, said could have prevented the tragedy. Ethan Crumbley, who also remains jailed, is charged as an adult and plans an insanity defense. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And police in New York City are searching for a man who they say shot and killed 1 homeless person and injured another in separate street attacks. The shootings occurred early Saturday morning, the first in the Soho neighborhood and the other just 10 blocks away. Surveillance video shows the suspect wearing all black and a black ski mask fleeing the scene. Meanwhile, the DNA on a cigarette butt led authorities in Washington state to identify the murder suspect in a 26-year-old cold case.
August 1995, someone had shot a 61-year-old woman twice in the head and left her naked body in a ditch in Kitsap County. Initially, the county sheriff's department linked her death to someone known as the Spokane serial murderer, but it turned out he was out of state at the time. Fast forward to this year, Sheriff's Department Detective Michael Grant tells Fox 13 Seattle that a lab did genome sequencing on a cigarette butt found at the murder scene, and it identified the killer.
It was conclusive to me that we had the right guy.
But it's too late to bring that guy to justice. He died in 2016. Roger Stern, Fox News.
I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox News.
Chili's has the seafood you crave and the flavors you love this Lenten season. Indulge in delicious Lent-friendly soups, salads, appetizers, and entrees, like our loaded baked potato soup, quesadilla explosion salad, our savory Cajun shrimp pasta, or our mouth-watering grilled ancho salmon. Ask about our black bean burger options, like our tasty mushroom Swiss or old-timer with cheese. This is a limited-time offer, so hurry in and enjoy all the tasty Lent options this Lenten season. We're located on the 2nd floor of Two Montans Plaza. At Chili's, savor the moment.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Hey, what did the grilled cheese sandwich say to their date?
What'd they say?
You make me melt.
Oh, so cheesy. But not as cheesy as Subway's latest Eat Fresh Refresh menu innovation. The new Fresh Melts with 3 times the cheese. Fresh Melts are the cheese lover's holy grail. Fresh Melts combine freshly baked breads and your favorite meats topped with a triple load of cheese. All grilled to warm, toasty perfection. Try the ham and cheese melt, tuna melt, or steak and cheese melt to start. Best of all, you can make any footlong into a fresh melt. At Subway, eat fresh.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Donna De Jesus. Here's a look at your local news on the point. A traffic stop for an expired license plate led to an arrest for illegal drug possession. GPD officers pulled over 36-year-old Gregorio Jason Pangilinan and 27-year-old Roxanne Rosalina Aquino last Thursday evening on Macheche Avenue in Dedido. Pangilinan did not have a driver's license or vehicle registration. He is known to police for being involved in other investigations related to firearms and illegal drugs. It's reported that police searched the vehicle and found an ice pipe and 3 baggies containing a crystal-like substance, which later tested positive for methamphetamine. Police also found an ice pipe in Aquino's purse. She told police she had smoked ice earlier that day. Pangilinan and Aquino were both charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. Meanwhile, a new indictment was issued against one of the 2 defendants accused of murdering former Umatic Mayor Daniel Sanchez. Rudy Quinata pleaded not guilty to special allegations of possession or use of a deadly weapon in court last Friday, adding to the list of charges, including murder and aggravated assault. The indictment was filed less than a week before Quinata's trial was scheduled to begin tomorrow with jury selection. Prosecutors say Quinata used a hammer to attack Sanchez last year. Quinata's girlfriend, Joyner Scott Sked, was convicted of murder last month for stabbing Sanchez at least 23 times. Sked maintains her innocence. And the Guam Board of Medical Examiners have closed a sexual harassment case against Dr. Ugochukwu Akoma. The woman who filed the report says she was a patient and is disappointed by the decision. She received the letter from GBME a month ago. The letter says there was insufficient evidence to warrant a finding that a violation of the Physicians Practice Act has occurred. The board says the case could be reopened if new evidence is discovered and encouraged the victim to seek legal consultation. 3 complaints have been filed against the doctor, and records show he has a history of similar offenses involving female patients and coworkers. We'll have more news after this.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified. Serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for quote 487-5657 or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Small businesses can benefit from a new tax cut. A bill by Senator Mary Torres was signed into law last week, revising the Business Privilege Tax, or BPT. Under the new law, businesses can earn up to $500,000 in revenue a year, qualifying for a lower BPT of 3% instead of 5%. Senator Torres says 90% of local businesses will benefit from this tax cut. It was also reported that the law will not go into effect until the 1st of July, but the new BPT will be applied retroactively to January of this year. And GDOE is asking the governor to lift the suspension of the truancy law because of issues with student attendance. Deputy Superintendent of Operations Erica Cruz says that all of Guam's public high schools are seeing students coming into school 2 to 3 hours late. Schools have resumed face-to-face learning since the end of November, but GDOE has lacked enforcement authority to address excessive tardiness and habitual absences because the truancy law remains suspended. Student policy states 3 unexcused tardies is equivalent to 1 absence, and habitually tardy or absent students could be sent to juvenile court, suspended, or expelled. The governor had indicated in the past that the suspension would not be lifted without input from parents. And those were top stories. Reporting for The Point, I'm Donna De Jesus. Here's Ray, possibly with weather.
I don't know. I'm looking around here. There was we were talking earlier about the missiles that rained down in Iraq. The Iranians aren't even denying it. Yeah, those are ours. We shot them because there were Israelis there. And, death
like
Israel.
Those?
I'm sorry. Was that wrong? Was that a bad thing? Okay, we're going to do something about it because we're all lined up and ready for you. Anyway, 7:10 in the morning. Yeah, might be some of that here this morning. I'm just looking over some of the comments. And is it possible that His Honor might have gotten one wrong here this morning? A couple of guys have chimed in. One that was in the police academy, and one I believe that was already a police officer when this guy Stranger was attacked by Adriatico and Elliptico in the prison. And they said, well, he was shot, but I don't think he died from those wounds. In fact, might have been released in the 80s. Right? So I don't know. Check the record if you want to on that. Partly sunny, and today's forecast daytime high is about 88 degrees. We're looking for east winds up to 18 miles an hour with gusts as high as 23 today, and that's why we got a high fire danger ratings because we get the winds back here. Isolated showers in the forecast for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies. Overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. We'll have some about 20 mile an hour gusts over the next couple of days as well. Isolated showers, mostly sunny tomorrow. Scattered showers and thunderstorms could be moving in tomorrow night, so be prepared for all of those. Sunrise this morning was at 6:29. Got some artwork from Jeff over at Pirates Cove we'll share with you, and sunset tonight is going to be at 6:31. 7:11 in the morning. This is The Point.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
7:13 in the morning, and interesting the way things go. You start talking about this old and for many people long forgotten part of Guam's history in the last century, in a murder spree that took place. It seemed to last forever, and then the guys were caught. Case goes to jail, and they were at the Department of Corrections, where the melee seemed to have continued. Bob Klitsky says they killed a guy. A couple of guys chiming in saying, well, it wasn't. He was shot at, and they smuggled a gun and a television set into the Department of Corrections at the time. Very, very interesting. But he wasn't killed. I got a guy, Pete, on the line. You say you were at the Department of Corrections when all of this was going down. Good morning, Pete.
Yeah, so let me tell you, there were 4 people shot. 2 shot and killed, and 2 survived. A.K. Cruz and Richard Mchunko were shot and killed. One was already dead at the scene, and one was sent to the hospital and dead on arrival. That's A.K. Cruz and Richard Mchunko. The other 2 that survived, Gumabon, shot and was paralyzed from the waist down, and Marquez. The running joke is that he was lucky that he has a small brain, because the bullet went. He was shot in the head, and the bullet is still there up till now.
Wow.
If his brain was any bigger, he would have been dead.
Gallows humor, to be sure. What an amazing time that was. Pete, I got to ask you, because it sounds like you got, an incredible memory. It's working for you here this morning. Your thoughts on a compassionate release for this Adriatico guy? Do you think he deserves anything? I think the 2. Adriatico and Elliptico.
And Marquez.
Marquez, okay.
Adriatico and Marquez. That's where Klitsky was trying to say that Ton Stranger, Ton Marquez, same last name with the others, with the other guy. So there's 2 of them, Adriatico and Marquez. But man, I mean, the damage they've done outside, and then the damage they did now. I can see where they're coming from with what the damage they did inside. Because they were put in a section where they knew the staff, the upper echelon knew that they were going to get bullied. So they and I'm not just talking bully. We're talking sadistic crap.
Yeah.
So they stood their ground, if you ask me. But for the stuff they did on the outside, I don't think they should be. As a matter of fact, I'm all for the death penalty. I don't know what is all these people talking about life. And you know that life in prison, who pays for that?
You and I do.
The taxpayers, right?
For the rest of their lives.
They should start talking about the death penalty, because none of these guys want to get reform. Once they get in there, there's no reform. Now, I don't care how long they talk about reform, how educated they. It's only the guards that are going to get the mentality about reform, but not the inmates. There are some inmates in there that will do their time and want to get out, but there's the other crazy part that don't want them to do their time and get out. They want to drag them down in their misery. So these lifers, and which are being put in the same population with the other guys that are not doing life, so they got a power in there. Those lifers, anybody that is sentenced to life should be considered for the death penalty. Why would you want to spend the rest of your life locked up? You should be begging.
Put me out of my misery. Put me out of my misery. Put me out of our misery. Pete, I really appreciate the sentiment here this morning and the pointers. I think it's a conversation that we ought to bring back. And I hope that Vern Perez is right in his head as he takes this under advisement.
I don't know that Vern Perez is sort of a bleeding heart liberal, so good luck with that.
Pedro, I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Appreciate you listening. 888-825-5888-TALK. As I said, people with much better memories than I chiming in on the events that took place, that transpired around that time. And again, it's a fresh story because one of the dudes wants to get out on some kind of a compassionate release. I didn't hear anything in there about COVID or I'm dying of this or I'm dying of that. I just kind of like to be, spend my last days on the beach. It's one of those stories where, I think I've turned a new leaf. I've learned the errors of my way, and I'm ready to rejoin polite society as a contributing member of the island's community. And I think there's a lot of people, Pedro included, that said you should have gotten the chair. I'm there as well. 7:18 in the morning. Jerry Roberts is coming in with the extra point before too much longer. In the meantime, kind of distracted by some of the other things that going on in the studio. I was supposed to finish a break, right? Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines. What is it? A global presence with a local home. And I got this from my friends over at Subway. These guys are just charging through on everything. All kinds of new flavors, all kinds of new tastes. The Eat Fresh, Refresh innovation, the latest, the new Fresh Melts. Fresh Melts combine freshly baked breads and your favorite meats, topped with a triple load of cheese, all toasted to a warm, gooey satisfaction. I toast them anyway, just because I like that extra. But can you imagine another couple of loads of cheese on that with a ham and cheese, tuna melt, steak and cheese melt to start? Best of all, you can take any footlong and make it into a fresh melt at Subway Eat Fresh.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
719 Ray Gibson Show, 888-825-5888-TALK. Lots and lots going on. A typical Monday you got 3 days worth of newspapers and all kinds of stories in there. And among the stories I'm most excited to help report is the good news that we're hearing out of Korea. I don't have all of the details right now. I suspect that there's more that meets the eye, so we'll get some time with former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez to talk about that. That could be the next big deal here and they were close in November. All of the airlines in Korea, the big ones, the small ones, the ones that haven't been flying here since the 90s, Isiana said, yeah, I guess we could start flying to Guam, and then Omicron hit. Yeah. And then everybody said, well, okay, time out, and it looks like, we're turning the corner on the pandemic. We got restrictions that are being lifted here on Guam, and the mandate, the vaccinate or get tested every week mandate has now vanished in a puff of political logic.
Except for certain healthcare workers.
Yeah, but okay. But my educator buddy Brian
Yeah.
Brian C. no longer has to go. And today, in fact, he would be lining up to get a test to find out whether he's allowed to go and work this week, whether it's negative or positive. And the good news is Brian doesn't have to do that anymore. And the same way that I was inundated with congratulatory messages after I could eat and drink in restaurants and bars again, like civilized human beings, I sent him a note of congratulations. You did it. You outweighed it. And I'm trying to remember, how many weeks was that? How many times did he and guys like him have to go out and get tested on a weekly basis for the privilege of being able to hold on to their own job? So that in my mind is kind of interesting. We'll watch and see with the Koreans, are they going to come back or not? I read an interesting post over the weekend, and somebody had posted on social media in a response to the story, and basically said, I don't want to hear any complaints about Korean tourists anymore. You know, you get some people, they say, well, they're kind of a rare breed in the hospitality industry. They don't like to eat in the restaurants, in the hotel every night. They're more happy going up the hill to Kmart and getting some kimchi bowls and going down back to the hotel, finding some water, and then microwaving the thing. That's what they like to do. That they get into the rent-a-cars, and they don't like to go on any of the package tours. They're more independent, and there's some people for whom that kind of rankles them. But for heaven's sakes, they might be the only game coming back into town in any kind of numbers anytime soon. So you better love up all those kimchi bowls. You know what? Every floor of the hotel, 2 microwave ovens at either end of the hallway. Big signs of microwave oven and fresh water over here.
Yeah. Now, what are they projecting? What they said, maybe 85,000 or something by the end of the year. Is that what they're thinking? The numbers are really still really low, but it's something. You're starting with something, and they rescinded the quarantine, the return quarantine.
Yes,
and that's what is propagating all of this.
I hope it stays, and hope the Japanese might be taking a look across the pond and saying, yeah, we could do that as well. Numbers from Taiwan were looking very, very promising. In November, we had all the influencers that were out here in Carl Gutierrez's backyard having a fantastic time and enjoying the food and the hospitality. And they said, okay, we're gonna come back and bring our friends. And then, as I said, here comes the Omicron. What a pain in the butt that was.
How much business do you think has been conducted in Carl Gutierrez's backyard over the years?
So, between him and his son-in-law's yard, yeah, because they're both nice places. Anyway, 7:22. Jerry Roberts is in the studio, so we got a whole gaggle of news and events that took place over the weekend, and we'll talk about some of that. In the meantime, I thought maybe we'll just jump into the extra point a little bit earlier and get 7:23.
Oh, it's okay with me.
You're good?
I'm ready.
Well, it's just that, like I said, I kind of distract myself on the table of contents and things like that. So we'll jump into Jerry Roberts. I'll think about what it is that we're going to talk about between that and the news all ahead on the Ray Gibson Show. This is being brought to you by Guam Insurance Services.
Now, research indicates that only about 3% of us write down our goals. Even less actually track them. When it comes to companies, only about 10% do this. That's a little bit mind-blowing. We'll talk about getting this goal thing figured out next on The Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guam Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
About 5.5 months ago, I ran through the goal-creating system known as SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Each letter stands for a different factor in determining how to set up goals. If this year is like every other year, almost nobody has written goals. Only a fraction of those who do are tracking them. That's a little bit cringe-worthy. The only thing I can think of is that the other 97% of people who do not write down goals must believe that they don't need a plan. Somehow they'll just wander around and bump into the success that they want. Before we get rolling on this, somebody in the government once asked me if they should do this goal thing. They told me that they had 20 years in, just needed 10 more, and then the door. So why fool with goals? Well, people who work for the government, whether that's GovGuam, the federal government, or the military, can also use a system like this if they're looking to advance. That said, I'm sure the majority of users are in the private sector. One of the impediments to goal setting is having too many of them. I've seen people stack goal on top of goal, both with their profession and their personal life, until it's just too much to deal with. So they don't, and the whole issue grinds to a halt. So let's do it differently. If you'd like to play along, all you have to do is choose one goal, either professional or personal, and work with that. Further, if you've never worked up a goal sheet, I insist you start this way. One goal only, and we run it through the SMART formula. So here we go. S is for specific. We commonly hear things like these. I want to lose weight. No. I want to save for a down payment on a house. No. I want to play the piano. No. None of those are specific. They all lack details and a deadline. Let's try it again. My goal is to lose 10 pounds by July 1st. Yes. My goal is for my savings to be at $100,000 by June of 2023. That's how much I'll need for the down payment on a house. Yes. My goal is to learn the basics of playing the piano so I can play 6 songs by the end of the year. Yes. It would be even better if you listed those 6 songs. The less detail you have at the beginning, the lesser your chances are of achieving the goal. The questions from the get-go should be, what is the outcome I want? Why do I want it? When do I want it? What will I sacrifice, if necessary, to get it? And what support will I need, and from who? When you spend ample time on the specific category, you're painting a complete picture of what you're going after, and this makes your goal more real for you. Again, for now, we only want one, just one goal. Between now and tomorrow, decide on one thing you want to achieve. It can be a job or career goal or something personal. It can take a week to accomplish or a year. But if I had my choice, I think I'd go for the week, just to start off and give it a try. Again, what's the outcome I want? Why do I want it? When do I want it? What will I sacrifice if needed to get it? What support will I need, and where will that support be coming from? We'll pick this up tomorrow, and hopefully you can take a step or two in the direction of making it happen. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guam Insurance Services. I'm Jerry Roberts.
What have you been using lately for your planning? Software? Piece of paper? Your goals, things like that?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a combination. I like to carry, I just change wallets, so I don't have it with me. I like to carry a little thing in my wallet that I can pull out.
Change wallets, too, because mine had a hole in it. The money kept falling out.
I didn't have any money to fall out, but I had holes in it. So I did that. You know, remember a fellow named Al Pickens?
Yeah.
From Deloitte.
KPMG, Deloitte. Yeah.
Deloitte Touche, all those companies, KPMG, Deloitte, and then or Deloitte and Touche, and then Deloitte. Al showed me, I interviewed him for the magazine years ago, and Al pulled out, during the interview, we talked about goals, he pulled out the drawer on the left-hand side of his desk, and he said, here's my goals. So I said, well, geez, can I see him? He said, no. He says, nobody sees these but me. And I pull it out a couple of times a day. And I look, and when I come in the morning, I look at these goals, okay, and I ask myself, is what I'm going to do today, okay, in line with these goals? And it's what the efforts I'll make today, will it help me make progress on any of these goals? And I tried to get him to show me what
like today's goals, this week's goals, life goals, personal
whatever
goals?
He had goals on a
2-hour marathon,
on a piece of paper, and well, maybe so, because he was a runner.
Yeah.
But he had those there, and he said that he took a look every day, a couple of times, just to make sure that what he was doing. Now, this guy was pretty successful in a lot of areas of life. So you think to yourself, okay, does that system work? Would it work for me? So I began carrying something in my wallet years ago, and I could pull it out. And I'll admit, I didn't do it every day, but I pulled it out, and things that were important to me were on one side, and the goals and things on the other side. And I would be able to look at that whenever I pulled it out. And I got to put it back in my wallet. And I'm reminding myself now to do that.
So I made the investment in a planner, a daily planner, but it also has a section in it for this year's goals, things I would like to accomplish this year, and so I was able to take that and extrapolate that into a binder that I have in front of the television. So before I reach for the remote, I got to put my hand on the binder, so I remember to open up the binder and see where I am with some of these goals. And there's a couple of things in there that I'm happy in March. I'm able to put a check mark on it and say, okay, I've done this, or I've taken these steps to get there. So it's important to have some kind of a system in place. And if you'd like to know about what kind of software I use, tune in tomorrow. And Real Joe, remind me to tell everybody about the software on my phone that helps me out a whole lot. And at the very least, it nags me several times a day. Which is great to get a reminder every day after 12 noon. In fact, at 12 noon, it starts sending me things that I should have done today that haven't gotten done yet. So you've got these nags that go on for all day long until you finally get around to doing it. Yeah.
You could break up with her.
Wife.com, something, I don't know what it is. 7:31 in the morning, and it's about time to jump in news and headlines. This one here being brought to you by Ken and Karen over at Top End Pest Control. You got varmints in the house that you don't want. Some people have varmints that they want, but if you don't want them there, call Ken and Karen today, and they'll remove them for you. 487-5657. Somebody was talking about and sent a picture the other day of what do they call it? There's a centipede. Which is, it's like when it's like in a little kid's book, centipedes are kind of cute. But when you see them in real life, do you not just shout out words in any kind of language that are the approximate vocal 911s, if you will? Anyway, also being brought to you by Rudy Rodolfo and his team over at Burger King. The Whopper Wednesday is back, and we got another one coming up here in just a couple of days. You love the Whopper. And news being brought to you by Loli Kemet, now with Hoffa Day Realty. Give her a jingle, 688-6743. Principal broker Joe D. Duane. Now with headlines, here's Donna De Jesus.
Starting tomorrow, eligible households can apply for cash assistance to help pay for gas. Programan Salapi offers a one-time payment of $300 to residents who meet the criteria. The Department of Administration will be taking applications from March 15 to April 15. More information can be found online at doa.guam.gov. COVID-19 vaccination clinic starts at the Agana Shopping Center today. The GCC vaccination clinic closed on Saturday. Residents wanting to get a COVID vaccine or booster shot can go to the second floor of the Agana Shopping Center from 11 to 5 Monday to Saturday. Appointments are recommended. Those wanting to get tested for COVID can go to the Tidzin Carnival grounds. The new testing schedule begins this week. It is now going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 3 and Saturdays from 8 to 11. No symptoms are needed to get tested, but testing will be offered by appointment only through the website tinyurl.com/COVID stops with me. And GPA officials are discussing whether a change to fuel surcharges due to the rising cost of crude oil prices. The Public Utilities Commission makes the decision on rate matters and has requested an update from GPA on fuel prices of the fuel surcharge. CCU Chair Joey Dueñas says the surcharge may rise another 2 cents. And those are your local headlines. Reporting for The Point, I'm Donna De Jesus.
Might go up 10 cents. I don't know.
Who knows, man?
Look at 2. We'll see how that works for us. West Texas has been doing some crazy stuff over the last couple of days. It was, where was it? As high as 128. That was 107 on Friday. 109, 125 Wednesday last week for West Texas crude, and it crumbled. That price was unsustainable. 109.33 is where West Texas is at today. So figure out what all of that is. But again, you take a look at the newspapers. Guam Daily posted an excellent write-up, and we'll get some clarity on this. They were thinking by this time of the year it'd be like $85 a barrel, and that's what they used to factor into the LEAC. We're also seeing the same kind of downward trajectory for Tapas, but not down fast enough and not by big enough chunks. Tapas now at $115.76. That's off a high of $132 last week. So that's where those figures are. And I know what you're thinking.
Well, okay, it was
132.
It was 132, and they jacked it up 30 cents.
Right.
Okay, so now that it's 117, you say, back to where it was before the 30-cent increase?
Do we go back to 540?
Let's knock that down to 569 again or something today. Right? What goes up fast comes down slow.
Well, that's the way it is with oil, but that's the way it is with practically everything. You know, it runs up, but you know, it will crawl down on the other side when things change. We're going to see all of this stuff, and the scary thing is the incredible amount of gaslighting that's going on. CBS, I'm sure, out there with a fake poll that says, well, the prices of gas are going up, but people are okay paying that extra gas just to rub Putin's face in it. Now, I'm going, who did you ask?
Yeah. Who are you talking to?
I've yet to find anybody that feels like it is their patriotic duty to go out there and buy $7 a gallon gas.
The other factor is, and this is what you don't get from the mainstream media, or the lamestream media, if you want, and that is that it's not as if he's not selling that gas somewhere else. He's got other customers there. So, I mean, Putin, first of all, the American strategy is to not buy his gas, not import it any longer. Mm-hmm. But, well, all it does is drive the price up, and Putin's smiling because the price is now higher on the world market, and he dumps it off someplace else.
Go and buy some more bullets and tanks to replace the 300 that the Ukrainians.
You say it's virtue signaling, right? All we're doing is we're saying we're doing something, but in reality, we put more money into this guy's pocket than before we started this whole process.
I started subscribing to it's one of these guys who send out reports every day, Axios, and I should read from Axios from time to time because I thought that they were kind of clear-headed and down the middle on some of this stuff. But it seems to me they might be drinking the Kool-Aid. Dems are asking Americans to sacrifice. House Foreign Affairs Chairman Gregory Meeks said, "I'm asking the people of the United States to also make the kind of sacrifice because in the long run, democracy is at stake." Are you feeling it yet? Are you feeling the warmth of the gaslight that is all over everybody? The war is giving Biden a chance to showcase attributes that appeal to Americans who backed him for president. Foreign policy experience. Well, wait a second. I don't know that anybody, he's got experience. It wasn't any good, but he's been at the game for a while. Empathy and respect for institutions. Well, the empathy was growling at the media over the weekend, saying, I'm sick of people blaming me for the high price of oil and inflation. And we're going, well, you're the one that shut down our pipeline, guy. You're the guy.
At least somebody has taken the time to go back and say, wait a second. And every time Jen Psaki says this, and every time Biden says it, first of all, if you have a lie, and we've talked about this last week on the Extra Point, if you've got a lie to tell and you keep telling it over and over and over again, then eventually people say that must be the truth. So when they come out and say that, this inflation it's Putin's gas spike and it's Putin's inflation, you go back a little bit in the records and you say, wait a second, the last spike or two might be, you can attribute it to Putin. But what about, the $1.50 or $2 that gas went up during your administration?
From inauguration to the day that Putin invaded.
And it had nothing to do with Putin because before February 24th when he started the war.
Nobody
They don't want to answer that question because it's the fact and it's the truth. And it says to people, wait a second, this is really Biden's inflation, not Putin's inflation.
Hashtag Bidenflation. Look it up. It's all over Twitter. Just go in that direction. And here's the scary thing is we got people on both sides of the aisle, so they will say it's bipartisan. It's not enough for us to say it's a tough time and it's because of the war in Russia. Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat from California, are you afraid now? And Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat from Rhode Island, have introduced legislation to tax the largest oil companies and assist individuals earning less than $75,000 or couples earning less than $150,000. So we're going to tax. They don't understand the concept. Companies don't pay taxes. Right. Little companies, big companies, they don't pay taxes. They collect it from their customers.
I had this thought cross my mind just about a week ago. Remember the term windfall profits?
Yes, I do.
Windfall profits tax. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what this is. The last time the oil companies saw this huge increase, very quickly, that they passed the law for windfall profits tax, and who knows where that money went to. But the idea is that that's what they're going to do now.
Well, now they're hoping to assist individuals earning less than $75,000 or couples earning less than $150,000, which means they're going to the conversation is going to be about printing more money, driving the nation further into debt, and driving up inflation with all of this additional money. Yeah. We've got to figure out something to reduce prices, and we need to be getting more money into the hands of working families. Well, there's a bunch of different ways that it can be done, but if you're only looking at using the same tools to defeat the giants as you were using decades ago, it ain't going to work in 2022. I'll tell you that. Yeah. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts. He does the extra point. We will return on the other side. I got to take a look at what's going on in traffic and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Half a day, this is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. The Biden administration is sending another round of 4 free COVID-19 test kits for everyone in the U.S., including Guam. This means getting tested for the virus can be done from the comfort of your own home. To order your free test kits, visit covidtest.gov. Do your part to stop the spread.
This ad is paid for with government funds by the Office of the Government of Guam.
7:41 in the morning. I hate it when you're lied to is the thing, or when somebody tries to pull something over your eyes. What do we got here? Let's take a look and see where we are on the roadways. Wait. Look out. There we go. Nothing major up at Anderson Air Force Base. Through Jigo, looking pretty good. Then we get into Waipau and a Sangsong, and you know the story there. A little bit of traffic, just a little bit on the other side of Guam Regional Medical City. It will join traffic already on Marine Corps Drive, but by the time you get to the Micronesia Mall, should all clear up. Looking at southbound traffic in Upper Tumon, then into the Kmark area. Expect some traffic through there. Slower traffic as you get towards the ITC building. Traffic on Route 8, dogging out in a bunch of different locations. We'd already seen some ugliness over by Cars Plus. I ain't talking about the automobiles. I'm talking about the traffic. You got nice cars over there, but we've got a little bit of traffic. Looks like both directions over at that intersection, so watch out for the slow. A little bit of slow over at the McMobile station. Doing out of the downtown Agotnia area, you're going to see some traffic. I'm looking at traffic in front of Wendys. You know why? Because they've got that new the honey chicken sandwich that we are telling everybody about. That's worth getting dogging out for, if you ask me. And then a little bit of traffic at Big Navy in Suma. Usual Monday stuff here at 7:42.
Fuel up today with the new $8 gasolina meal. 2 all-beef Nathan's hot dogs, a big bag of chips, regular size M&Ms, and a 16-ounce gasolina energy drink. The brand new drink in a black can that brings a burst of energy. Drive in now and fire up your day with the $8 gasolina meal. Promo is only available at your favorite Circle K Guam locations while supplies last. Circle K, take it easy.
Juan Carlos Benitez.
Just in time for Lent. It's our delicious BK Big Fish Sandwich. 100% white Alaskan pollock, breaded with crispy panko, topped with sweet tartar sauce, tangy pickles on top of a warm toasted brioche bun. Also available, our Impossible Whopper. 100% Whopper, 0% beef. Enjoy your Lenten season with French fries and a refreshing brewed sweet or unsweetened tea. We're ready to serve you this Lenten season. Now available at BK Hagåtña, Tumon Bay, Micronesia Mall, and at the airport. BK, your way.
Have it? Where? Oh, which one? No, I'll do that. I'll do that one later. Well, there's no talking on this one. It's usually the guy with the deep voice telling you,
Ray Gibson Show.
Telling you just how lucky you are you found me. My dear people of Guam, how did you get so lucky? We get the broadcast here with Jerry Roberts and Pretty Lady doing the news and Real Joe getting the phone and look at me, Taurus and the Tiger. How did you luck into somebody on the radio with all of that? 888-825-5888-TALK. More from that story I was reading you. Just because it's annoying. because it's annoying. It just seems to be so much shoe polishing going on here. What we're watching here is Wall Street Journal poll out yesterday found that 57% of voters remained unhappy with Biden's job performance despite favorable marks for his response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine and a recent State of the Union address. What? Wait. What? 57?
Back up.
Okay, wait. Oh, it's 57, so that means that 33% of voters are happy with Biden's job performance. That is despite favorable marks for his president's response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine and his recent State of the Union speech. What is there about our response to Ukraine? I mean, they fumbled the weapons thing, isn't it? Weren't they going to be sending weapons through Poland and that's got all messed up here, and then Kamala getting up there just gibberish, like we're here to protect our NATO partners. Ukraine's not a NATO partner, but just in case there's some kind of contagion, we will be there for our NATO people. Okay, Kamala, come home, come back here. Democrat advantages over Republicans narrowed on education, COVID response, and protecting middle-class families. I've actually got a little bit of insight on this. There have been polls. Americans aren't buying Biden's gaslighting. They've done some surveys here. ABC, 70% disapprove of his handling of gas prices, 70% disapprove of his handling on inflation, 60% disapprove on the economy on the CBS poll, and 63% want to increase oil production. So which is it, CBS? Is it people want to increase oil production, or we're willing to pay more as long as we can rub Putin's face in it? I'm unsure of where some of this information is going. I guess they're only publishing the stuff that makes Biden look good. 7:46 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. The next chapter, who said this? Here's Sean Patrick Maloney, Democrat from the DCCC. Be the man you saw on Tuesday night who crushed it at the State of the Union, who right now is leading the world, standing up to Russian aggression. These people believe their own press releases. I don't know. The next chapter is going to be where the American people rediscovered they elected a strong, decent man who's fighting for very important things. Remind me to put some oil on this chair. At some point, I got to get that. Put that on the to-do here list here on the Ray Gibson Show. There are a few other things. I was looking, and I hope I've got it on this version of my phone. I'm looking here for some paperwork that came from the Democratic Party of Guam over the weekend. I'm fortunate enough to receive some of those things. Yes, Democratic Party. And the note here comes from, oh, darn it. Now, I thought I had it printed out, but I don't. It's not in the phone. I'll look for it a little bit later on. 7:47 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. I'd like to do a shout, and I don't often do shouts, but I want to do a shout and point out something that I think is of vital importance today in the front page of today's Guam Daily Post. Now, you might be thinking, people are allowed to make errors, says medical board chair Nathaniel Berg. Says the thing that came up in the oversight meeting was a sort of bullying on the part of the speaker to get everybody's anything they've ever done wrong ever. They would have gone to court. Posted on the website. We have advised the speaker of the detrimental effects that it will have on this community in terms of our ability to recruit physicians. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. Huh? Really? Do you think many of the... So should we kind of tout ourselves? Listen, we don't care what's in your medical background. We just need doctors.
Yeah, it's in the past.
It's in the past. It's in the past.
Your future needs you.
Right. Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to be critical of that position because there's probably something in every one of our lives. Even Donna, even holy Donna over here. There's probably something in each one of our lives that if somebody found out about it, 5 years at DepCorp, 5 years easy,
right away.
But. That's even with the suspended part and time served, right? 5 years in the Department of Corrections. But I don't know about that. I think, this is... It's one thing to say, yeah, there's a blemish or two in his background, but otherwise, no, he's a nice guy. He just, was Putin, right? How would Nathaniel Berg handle somebody like Putin? Is that if he applied for a doctor job here on Guam? Yeah, I'm not sure about that Ukrainian thing. Maybe we just won't tell anybody about it. about that. It's in the past. Cope North brings torch Uggan home. Well, welcome home, son. GDOE renewing a call to reinstate truancy laws. And you might be going, well, Ray, all of those are very, very important things. Which one is the most important thing on the front cover of today's Guam Daily Post? And it's none of the above. None of the above. I'm here to tell you the most important thing on the front page of today's Guam Daily Post. I want to say it might even be in the daily news, but it's not in the front page. So kudos to the guys, Dave Castro and the team over at the Guam Daily Post, for getting a picture of my good friend Tony Montanonia and sticking it on the front cover of the Guam Daily Post. A frequent listener of the radio station, and from time to time, it's the guy that, remember when they were doing Hotnu over at Mescla?
Yeah,
this is the guy that set it up.
Yeah.
This guy's the Hotnu king of Guam.
Yeah,
he's the hotness that is the hotnu. Don't know what a hotnu is? It's an oven, basically. It's an oven for people to be able to make breads, pans, and all kinds of other stuff in it. And he has been doing it down in Rahan for a long time. And they've got the Sagan Couture and Chamorro, and so Chamorro month going on over there. I don't know what the entire schedule is. But I'm so glad they got an opportunity to get with Tony. Now, Tony, in addition to being the hotness here on Guam, is also a hell of a musician.
Oh, really?
And I got on an airplane back in the old continental Micronesia days on a fam tour to do a live broadcast from a hotel in Fiji. And with me on that trip was Vince and Tony and a couple of kids from the dance group that were out there, and they were going to perform at a variety of places on this fam trip, because we wanted to we want to travel in both directions. Here's Guam coming to Fiji, here's Fiji coming to Guam, and we all hooked up at an ambassador's house in Fiji.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and it was really, really good. A bunch of other people from the region, great conversations that we had with these guys, and they came out. Here's the performance, and then they're sitting around playing the guitars, and here comes this lady from Fiji, this kind of celebrity in their singer, actress, that kind of thing. And they made friends, and before you know it, all of a sudden, there doesn't seem to be any more control, adult supervision over at the bar, and there's more than 1, 2, or 3 guitars out there, and everybody's singing Fijian songs and Chamorro songs and songs, and it was one of these, wow, what an incredible kind of, it felt like a cultural reunion. If that doesn't sound too weird and wokey coming from somebody like me, but it felt like, here's some talent and here's some spirit that had been separated by distance and time, and all of a sudden they're back together, and we're drinking beer and singing songs, just like island people do. And that was Tony Montanonia, who was one of the dudes that was doing the strumming. 7:52 in the morning, so thank you very much for putting him on the front page and giving him some overdue recognition. I appreciate that. I did write a note to myself here. I do that when I'm going through the table of contents, right? So it's not just a story on the front page of today's Daily Post with Nathaniel Berg on it. But does this not look like a perp picture? Doesn't it look like he should be wearing an orange shirt?
Yeah.
Did you get that
Especially
same
with the
sentiment?
scruff on his face, yeah.
Here's this. I'm going to hand down an assignment. I'm going to hand down an assignment.
Oh, don't do that.
No,
Ray.
it's coming. No. You know what I'm talking about here. What I want you, I don't even know the website or the app. It's one of these AI apps. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to clip out Nathaniel Berg's picture here, post it up on one of those AI apps thing, and see if he can come out and sing a song. You know which one I'm talking about? You remember when they did the guy that was accused of murdering and then dumping the body in the ocean, right? They did a thing with him. Did one with Lou, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
The governor of Guam, Lou Leon Guerrero, was one of those things in there. Can't touch this. That's the one. That's the song. So we need a Nathaniel Berg Can't Touch This video. Get it to me and send it. We'll play it on the screen here. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number on truancy laws. I didn't know they had truancy laws here on Guam. I didn't realize that there was any kind of control. Certainly don't see any curfew laws in effect. Hi, my name is Ray, and as I'm fond of telling you, I get from time to time, every day, from my MTM Neighborhood Watch group. And I'd love to be able to contribute more. But it's not like I'm, sitting on the front porch of the house with gun on one side, video camera on the other. Who are you? No, there's no one here by that name. Keep moving. And I got another one of those things where the guy, there's 3 kids walking down the street, middle of the night. And by middle of the night, I mean past 10 o'clock at night. And 3 teenagers, we just call them teenagers, maybe children of compact migrants, I don't know, walking around in the middle of the night. What are you doing here? Oh, we're looking for Joe Cruz. We're looking for my friend Joe Cruz. And you talk to the guys over at the Neighborhood Watch. They know who Joe Cruz is and where he lives. We've got 7 in our neighborhood, and he knows where every single one of us is. There's no Joe Cruz here. Go home. Go to your house. Go scat. Get out of here and do all that. So truancy laws, curfew laws, I don't know. Do we have them? Are they in effect? Those kinds of things. You know, it would occur to me that I'm sure that we do have them, and the only people that are following them are the good kids. They're the good kids. They're saying, well, I can't go out. It's 10 o'clock Sunday night. It's past curfew. Yeah. And so I don't know. So if it's my old rule, if there's nobody here to enforce it, then there's no law. Like the U-turn thing in front of the radio station. 7:55 in the morning. So have you felt the inflation yet? Did you go someplace and go, oh my God, wow, when did that price? When is that? Yeah, that's the new price. Everything costs a little bit more to get it to your table, Mr. Gibson, but we hope you enjoy it, and we'll love you up with even more service now. Would you like some new water? Let me just check that beer, Mr. Gibson. No, leave the beer alone. It's $6.50. I was at a place over the weekend, Real Joe. I paid $6.50 for beer.
Wow,
this is the flip side of being allowed to drink inside again. Is, hey, man, I can eat in restaurants indoors, and I can eat and drink beer inside, and it's so good to be sitting around with civilized and polite aircon. Whoa! You know what? That aircon has lifted the price of. Because it used to be like even happy hour, you could get away with a $4 beer. I haven't seen that in a long, long time. Air
contacts.
Like I said, I was someplace and I'm just ordering beers because that's what you do when you're drinking in there. And finally come up and here it comes the tab, and I'm looking at this. Wait. Before I even tip you, these are $6 a piece. And the response from a young lady, welcome to Tumon. Welcome to Tumon. And you'll see that there's or wait a second, it's $6 if it's available, which is another crunch that I'm noticing from time to time. Is they'll give you a menu, always a photocopy of a menu, so we don't actually spend money with Chris Biacchino at the printing press anymore. We're just going to keep photocopying, and we can change the prices kind of on the fly. And there were more than 1 or 2 places where I got in there, and this will please my distributor friends. I'd say, hey, can I get a big wave? And they said, oh, we don't have big wave. I said, but it's on the menu. Yeah, but we don't have big wave. So, but if we did, it'd still be $6. Welcome to Tumon. 6:57 in the morning. You may have gotten hit with this. I haven't had lobster anything in forever. Never mind inflation. Lobster prices have soared so much that restaurants are either giving their customers sticker shock or taking lobster off the menu entirely. The lobster price shock is both a supply problem and a demand problem. Maine lobstermen were able to sell their catch straight off the boat, $6.71 a pound in 2021, up 59% over pandemic-depressed 2020 levels, and up 39% over 2019. Restaurants are adapting. Washingtonian Magazine reports that this means $100 for a 2-pound lobster at the D.C. steakhouse called the Prime Rib. $100 for 2 pounds of lobster. How much of that do you eat? You get it's the meat. I eat the meat.
Yeah, you get that tiny
like that,
tail
the tail part. Isn't that the fun? Fun part there.
Suck the head,
maybe a little bit if they got claws. You can eat the claws. Yeah. But pretty much, you know what? We're going to have to start eating the shell to make it worth that. $100 for a 2-pound lobster. Salt Line Restaurant has cut lobster rolls from the menu and replaced them with shrimp and clam rolls, also known as the other lobster. Lobster rolls just aren't meant to be that expensive. It's almost embarrassing to pass that cost to our guests, they say. So watch out for the inflation coming after you and your favorite lobsters. I did mention that I ate at Chili's upstairs over the weekend. And while I was waiting to go up, I was waiting for the escalator. Sometimes you push the button and the cab doesn't come. Anyway, so I'm waiting on the escalator, and it occurred to me there was this space right in front of me, right, facing the road, and I remember Hey, didn't that used to be Red Lobster? You remember among the casualties of COVID-19 was the Red Lobster. You know, the whole business plan was based on being able to serve locals and military and tourists. You know, one of our stateside favorites. And then all of a sudden, bam, COVID-19, and just not enough military or locals to be able to support that business. And there ain't nothing in there now except the floor and some of the decorations still hanging from the ceiling. Hey, look, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll talk about the possibilities and the opportunities that lay ahead in the land of tourism and hospitality as the Ray Gibson Show continues. In the meantime, we're closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. Fox News Live, we'll catch that on time and see what exactly is going on. Daylight savings time and maybe more conversations about Ukraine. I'd like to hear what is going on between Iran, Iraq, and the missiles that were fired over the weekend. Not hearing enough about that right about now. Stand by, Fox News Live. We are KUSG getting you. This is The Point.
Ukraine under attack. I'm Marie Corsetti, Fox News. As Russian forces are continuing to target cities, hospitals, and residential areas.
Putin's army slowing down again this Sunday as Ukrainian troops say they're not giving up. And the troops are doing everything they can to fight back. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky visited some of the soldiers who have been injured while fighting in Ukraine. Overnight, a Russian airstrike killed at least 35 people at a military base near the Polish border. More than 100 people were injured. By the hour, Putin's troops getting closer and closer to Kyiv. Russian troops are trying to block and paralyze the capital city with days and nights of shelling in the suburbs, just trying to get closer to the capital city.
Fox's Alexis McAdams, this as an American journalist, was killed in Ukraine.
And this information that we're learning right now, indicating from someone on the ground who was at the scene, that these two journalists got into a car to go closer to where the front line was at, and ultimately they were shot. We don't know who shot them, but this is an active war zone. And again, we can confirm at this hour that one American civilian journalist was killed just outside the capital of Kyiv.
Fox's Trey Yingst. Meanwhile, police say they've identified the man who stabbed two workers this weekend at the entrance to New York's famed Museum of Modern Art.
Video shows the man jumping over the reception desk and attacking the workers. Deputy New York City Police Commissioner John Miller says the suspect is 60-year-old Gary Cabana, who tried to see a film at the museum but was denied entry because his museum membership was revoked the day before.
His membership had expired as a result of two incidents involving disorderly conduct here at the museum on two separate dates in recent days.
The two victims went to the hospital in stable condition, one stabbed in the back and neck, the other in the left collarbone.
Fox's Roger Stern. America is listening to Fox News.
Hafide, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Do you or a loved one have loss of use of a hand or hands from an injury, stroke, birth defect, or pain? Then reach out to a specialist in upper extremity and hand surgery care by contacting Dr. Jerome Landstrom, board-certified reconstructive hand surgeon and microsurgeon. 671-646-HAND or visit his website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com.
The Federal Reserve is expected to announce a rate hike this week, signaling a new strategy to combat inflation.
When the Federal Reserve meets Tuesday, analysts expect a quarter-point rate hike to its benchmark short-term interest rate, perhaps the first of several this year. Raising interest rates is a tool policymakers could use to bring down the impact of fast-rising inflation by slowing down the economy. There has not been a rate increase since December of 2018. Many Wall Street banks have suggested the Fed could raise rates as many as 7 times this year. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And gas prices are at record highs, and an oil industry expert says consumers should not expect any relief anytime soon.
Gas prices now stand at a record average of $4.43 a gallon, up 79 cents in just the last 2 weeks. Oil industry analyst Trilby Lumberg says this is unprecedented.
This was a record not only for the amount of the hike and the price, but for speed, because that amounts to a
nearly 6 cents per day for the past 14 days.
Russia is the second largest exporter of oil in the world, and Lumberg says the invasion of Ukraine upset an already tight crude oil market. She adds that unfortunately, Americans will have to get used to the current pricing levels.
We could have an extreme price hike from here. We could also have a pause. The only thing we're unlikely to see is a big decline in prices.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Oscar-winning actor William Hurt has died. His son Will posted today that his father died peacefully of natural causes. Hurt had 3 consecutive Academy Award nominations for Best Actor in the mid-1980s. These included Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Children of a Lesser God, and Broadcast News. He won for Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Hurt was also a stage actor during the 1980s, appeared in off-Broadway productions, and received his first Tony Award nomination in 1985 for the Broadway production of Hurly Burly. He was 71. I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox News.
We're already Pika's best radio station, but we're always looking for ways to be even better. Announcing the point on Alexa. In addition to our FM and HD radio feeds, our incredible app, informative website, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, you can now tell Alexa to stream The Point. And your smart speaker will start playing whatever we're saying. News and views 24/7 with your 4-word command. Alexa, stream The Point.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Donna De Jesus with a look at your local news on The Point. A 19-year-old has been charged for a fatal hit-and-run in Upper Tumon that occurred in December. Police say Siochi Elson was on probation at the time of the crash. Elson was speeding down Marine Corps Drive when he struck what he thought was an animal. Elson told police that when he realized it might have been a person that he hit, he did not stop to check because he was scared. 32-year-old Joanne Kabuag was unconscious when medics arrived. She later died from her injuries. Elson was charged with negligent homicide, leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, reckless driving with injuries, speeding, and driving without a license. A traffic stop for an expired license plate led to an arrest for illegal drug possession. GPD officers pulled over 36-year-old Gregorio Jason Pangilinan and 27-year-old Roxanne Rosalina Aquino last Thursday evening on Macheche Avenue. Pangilinan did not have a driver's license or vehicle registration. He is known to police for being involved in other investigations related to firearms and illegal drugs. Police searched the vehicle and found an ice pipe and 3 baggies containing a crystal-like substance which later tested positive for methamphetamine. Police also found another ice pipe in Aquino's purse. Aquino told police she had smoked ice earlier that day. Pangilinan and Aquino were both charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. A possible plea agreement may be oncoming for a former airport police officer. Prosecutors say Pan Sa Kim touched a woman inappropriately when assisting her in January 2020. Documents state that Kim had interviewed the woman earlier about another case and showed up at her house to get a phone charger that he lent her. The victim says Kim followed her into the bedroom where she went to get the charger. She asked him to leave after he started stroking her hair and touching her breasts. Kim was arrested and charged with 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct and official misconduct, but he denies the allegations. Kim was terminated from the airport authority. He appealed his termination to the Civil Service Commission. That issue is pending resolution of the criminal case. More local news after this.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Indoor gatherings are still limited to 100 people, but there is no longer a limit on outdoor social gatherings. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signed the executive order on Friday, which adds that GovGuam employees, except for healthcare workers, will no longer need to show proof of vaccination or submit weekly COVID testing. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says over 95% of education employees are fully vaccinated. The executive order also rescinds vaccination requirements for interscholastic athletics. Residents are still urged to wear masks, wash hands regularly, and maintain social distancing. Vaccinations and booster shots are recommended. And GDOE is asking the governor to lift the suspension of a truancy law because of issues with student attendance. Deputy Superintendent of Operations Erica Cruz says that all of Guam's public high schools are seeing students coming into school 2 to 3 hours late. Schools have resumed face-to-face learning since the end of November, but GDOE has lacked enforcement authority to address excessive tardiness and absences because the truancy law remains suspended. And student enrollment in Guam's public schools is dropping, and GDOE officials say that the trend is expected to continue. K through 12 enrollments decreased by 3,400 students over the last 2 years. Guam Education Board member Maria Gutierrez says the downward trajectory is a concern because community developments within villages, like a planned 64-unit affordable housing development near PC Lujan Elementary School in Varagata, would impact capacity levels and student enrollment at nearby schools. Student enrollment is considered for decision-making related to school districts, transportation, modernization, investments, and redevelopment opportunities. And those were your top stories. Donna De Jesus. Reporting for The Point. Back to Ray.
Just, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
I feel like...
She's got moved in. Have you noticed that? She's got James Howard wondering what kind of condom that is on the microphone.
What?
It's not a condom. It's a windsock is what that's called. The idea is that and some microphones will require them from time to time. And you were using that over on Boss 104.
Yeah, I always use it
because it's a Heil microphone, and they're very, very sensitive to some of that lower rumble. Right?
That, and I don't want my spit getting on the mic.
Oh, I clean the mic every morning. I rub it down every morning, Donna, just to let you know.
He rings it out at the end of the show.
See, I'm just borrowing this mic. So.
Yes, I appreciate that. All right, but James Howard, no, and he should know better than that. Now, I do want to share something with you. I believe my brother heard the request go out for some artwork. As I said, you take a look at the front page of today's Guam Daily Post, and there's a picture of Nathaniel Berg up on. Let me get us both of us on. And Nathaniel Berg is on the cover, and if I can get a little bit closer to that, and I'm looking at that thing going, all he needs is an orange T-shirt and a thing in the front with his name on it, and that would be perfect. It looks like a perk pick. and then I thought, well, you know what we need to do is somebody needs to go and get that picture, lift it out of the front page of the digital Guam Daily Post, and then send it over to that AI app website thing. And my brother did. Now I'm trying to think if I can play this. Could you just listen to it real quick and just real Joe, just let me know whether or not there's any foul language on it. Because I just think I think it'd be funny.
It is.
It's already.
That's copyright music,
sound like
man.
But you can see this will work with just about any song.
So real.
Womba.ai on the World Wide Web. WOMBIBO Wombo.ai, and take a picture of that. Now this one here is a little bit different, and I think on this one it makes a noise about touching a ding ding or something like that. But it's just fun to see what they're doing with his eyes and his mouth.
That's the Berg I want to hang out with. man.
Exactly. That's not the gaslighting, Dr. Berg. Hey, look at those eyebrows. Woomba.ai. See, you're going to do this now. You're going to grab that picture of Tony Montanoni and put it up on the Woomba thing as well. 8:13 in the morning. Donna was talking about weather, or maybe, I don't know. Partly sunny in today's forecast. Daytime highs 88 degrees. East winds 13 to 18 miles an hour. Gusting as high as about 23. We got isolated showers, mostly cloudy skies in the forecast for tonight. Mostly sunny tomorrow. So if you missed the sun today, you get some time to make up for it tomorrow. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, though, tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. Sunrise this morning was at 6:29. Sunset tonight at 6:31. A couple of things that you need to know about. Careful out there. High fire danger rating. And there weren't any announcements about it, but the current. It was kind of interesting in Tumon. Did you go by Tumon yesterday?
I did.
You did?
I strolled through every...
Zoom, super crowd, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was just amazing. From, let me see, from the West End, is that the last one yeah, from about the West End all the way to Epau Beach. It just looked absolutely crowded. A lot of people out there with your tent. Is that what everybody spent their PUA money on?
Yeah.
Was buying a tent from over at Kmart? Just the place was absolutely packed. A lot of military, not as much as there was last week, but it was just a huge crowd in Tumon. And I'm just so pleased to see people going out there and really, really enjoying what Guam has got to, some of the best of what Guam has to offer. I know some of you said, yeah, Tumon, it's too crowded there. I know a couple of other very, very interesting spots. And let me know about those. It's always fun to discover new places to go. As long as it's not too rocky. Can I just say that's my least favorite thing. And there's some places down in still in Tumon where I'm going, oh, I love it here, but it's so rocky, like Gun Beach. As an example, Gun Beach on the other side of the Necco.
Love on the rocks.
Exactly. I mean, water is usually perfect. The sand, it's thick sand. It's a nice, big, grainy sand that you've got out there. And then you get into there's only a couple of spots where wading is allowed. Otherwise, it's just kind of rocks all over the place. Where was I? 8:15 in the morning. More on hospitality and the best that we've got to offer. Feet forward and look into the future with former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. That's right after these.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise, and we are here to help. We have revised Programang Salapi to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle, and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Introducing the phone that makes epic the standard, the Samsung Galaxy S22. This Galaxy is oh so beautiful and now available at GTA. Get the Samsung Galaxy S22 on HPO with the Live Limitless wireless plan and enjoy unlimited talk, text, high-speed data, and more for only $55 a month. And for a limited time, when you buy the Samsung Galaxy S22, you'll receive a $200 gas card for free. Come in today and make the Samsung Galaxy and Live Limitless your epic standard. Terms and conditions apply. GTA. We start with you.
Gotcha. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by my friends over at Wendys. They got so much to celebrate over there. I want to make sure I got the right thing because I think we've switched out coffee on a couple of things. There's one for morning breakfast, and then there's another one because it's Lent. And at Lent time, they bring back one of my favorite sandwiches of all time. It is the crispy Ponko fish fillet. Wild-caught Alaskan fish fillet served crispy golden brown, topped with creamy dill, tartar sauce, pickles, lettuce, and American cheese on a soft toasted bun. Combo that up. Have that with great Wendy's fries and strawberry iced tea today. Ponko crusted fish fillet sandwich back for Lent at Wendy's.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Hi, buddy. What you gonna be doing on the 20th of March? You got any plans to celebrate? Commemorate, if you will. It was the 20th of March last year that we all got put onto the COVID-19 mandate restriction path that has been with us and people around the planet. So what are you going to be doing? Will you somewhere take a toast to whatever restrictions have been lifted that might impact you, that might affect you? A couple of things that are worth noting here, is the change, lifting of at least one of the restrictions, and I'm hopeful. I'll get clarification, but I'm hopeful that with the lifting of the outdoor gathering restriction, limitless now, any number you want to, you're outside. I don't even think they care if you wear a mask. But does that mean that we can return to 5Ks and events like that? It has been an awful long time since there has been an actual, 5K fundraiser for somebody out, from Skinner Plaza or Chamorro Village down to the governor's office and back, and all kind of sit around at the end and have bananas and for the good ones, yogurt. Where's my shirt? What did I win? What did I win?
Trips to the PI.
Oh boy.
Trips to Korea.
Only certain 5Ks. I think there ought to be a whole bunch of them. I think governor's office. Logan, are you listening? I think the governor's office ought to celebrate the lifting of the restriction by having a 5K. Is all-in fundraiser? I meant it's just a 5K. For 5K for democracy. That's what we'll call it. I don't know. At any rate, so it got that March 20th, though. Some people are going to celebrate the lifting of the restrictions by going out and running the 49th annual Guam Marathon and Ekiden Relay. Go sign up today over at the Micronesia Mall, 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning. Is that my governor?
It's the governor and Colleen from Guam Visitor.
Oh, no way. Yeah. No way. Oh, I'm double blessed here. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez and Colleen Cabrera from over at the GVB. She's in charge of the Korea market. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning, Ray.
Hey, Gov. Nice to have you on the line as well.
Good morning there, Mr. De Jesus and Joe. How are you?
We're all terrific. So did you make friends with that pig?
Yeah. Yes, of course. She's going to come around. I think she's going to have babies there, pregnant pig.
People might be listening going, what the heck is that going on about at the pig? So Governor Gutierrez, I don't know, it's late Saturday afternoon, and he's up at Runao and doing whatever it is that governors do up there. But he sends me a picture just before sunset, and he says, well, the pigs are getting friendlier up here. And I got video. I can put this up on the screen so that you can see what's going on. So here's Gov, cruising around the backside to where the stairs, and it goes up the stairs. There must be something happening around there in the backside. Oh, look at that. And there it is. I don't know. I can't really make it out. Is that Toro? Is that boy?
Female.
Female. All right. Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, yeah. How can you tell?
Because like tutus.
Okay, gotcha. And so she's been lurking around the ranch for a couple of days?
Yes, no, she's probably there now and looking for the coconuts I cut up for her.
All right. Is that what that's all about? Because I've noticed there's a few other places where I've been hanging out where there's coconuts there. You can tell they were cut by a human being and out there trying to feed something. At any rate, I think that's fantastic. And, we hope that you have a litter or gaggle of pigs, and eventually the boys will cook it all up and we'll go up and eat them.
Well, we're going to save them for the tourists to come around.
That too.
I think that my place is a tourist destination.
Well, here it is, Govin. You know this. There's no shortage of pigs on Guam. 8:21 in the morning. But we get back to some really, really fascinating news. Late Friday afternoon, a couple of things were happening. I got word that some of the restrictions, and I haven't gone through all of them yet. There's the two big ones that are out there, the vaccination mandate for executive branch employees and the lifting of the restriction on outdoor gathering, which means, like I said, we can do 5Ks, 10Ks, marathons, half marathons, all of those kinds of things again. And I think GVB might be able to look at returning to the Guam the half marathon, the GVB race.
We are going to start looking at the Coco road race. That's by law that it's called Coco road race, Micronesia Fair, and so we're going to get back to that cultural reason of having that in the first place.
Well, good
not
news.
Too much commercialized.
Good news. Well, let me know. Let me know when it's time to start running ads and getting all kinds of attention for it. I'm really excited about that, and maybe even bringing back the old route for the Coco race, which is we go in the opposite direction. We don't go up the JFK hill. We actually go up towards the Coturan Chamorro and the Archbishop Circle to get that particular race started. But anyway, that's just runner stuff. But the other piece of good news came late in the afternoon from you on Friday, talking about how restrictions and quarantine rules in Korea, one of our most valuable source markets, is changing. What did we know Friday? What do we know Monday morning?
Well, first of all, this is a good send-off for our dear girl, Colleen, who's probably got less than 9 days left here.
No, do not accept her resignation. New York doesn't need any more pretty girls. This one here's got to stay here.
Right, and that she's our Korea market specialist, and she put a lot of things together, working with Margaret Sablon here and Jay, our man on the ground in Korea. And I'll tell you, they're nonstop, and she finally got some movement with the Korean market. And I'd like for her to sort of tell how this thing led up to that, and how we are trying now to jump on a plane with Nadine and get over there quickly, talk to Asiana, talk to other airlines to start moving. But she has the information on who's ready to fly in what dates. Colleen?
Yeah, sure. So on Friday, the Korean government, they announced the lifting of quarantine measures upon returning to Korea. So if you're fully vaccinated from Korea, you can re-enter with no quarantine starting March 21st. And then April 1st, it's open to all foreigners. So come first week of April, we're going to have our team go out to Korea for our strategic mission to meet with all of the airlines and our travel trade partners and rekindle our relationships with our teams in Korea to reestablish travel. So it's super exciting news. We're all gearing up both here with our team and then also our team in Korea.
Now, what exactly do we need to do? I mean, other than face-to-face meetings, obviously, are going to be good, letting them know that we are receptive, and the reciprocal nature of flying to Guam without having to worry about quarantines for individuals that are vaccinated, boosted, or tested, right?
Well, the gold standard for all of this is PCR testing, and so I'd like to thank the governor's office for committing a PCR test for our returning visitors. That's definitely going to be the biggest factor in, ensuring that our visitors are taken care of when they get here and making sure that they return home safely. All right,
and so obviously that needs to be part of some kind of a marketing push that needs to be done pretty quick out in Korea. The fact of the matter is that there are other competitive destinations like Hawaii, other spots in Asia for which some of these travel-starved Koreans might also be considering for a trip.
The key here is not only Korea now, Ray. It's kind of spurred the market in Japan and also stirring the market in Taiwan. Of course, the Philippines has always been open, but we are now. It's a competitive thing amongst the countries themselves. But of course, our big competitor is Hawaii, and hopefully soon our governor will also. I know it's a double-edged sword on lifting masks, but that was a key thing in Hawaii. They're partying there. The people are having a big bash last night. Dr. Shea gave me all of that video that what they were doing there in Waikiki and Kalakaua. And that's what we need to be able to get Pleasure Island hopping and jumping and no masks. And people are now opening up their restaurants and optional tours. And we're getting our work done here for Destination Guam, cleaning it up, painting the sidewalk. Everything has to come together in one fell swoop. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the governor to say, okay, guys, no more masks. Let's see what happens. I can always put it back. But let's see what happens if you don't wear any mask right now.
Well, I'm talking to guys over at the legislature. I think that it's possible that some of them might finally have found their coconuts and might move forward with either an override of Bill 11 or adopting the Klitsky-Gibson resolution that would provide in future the requirement that all of this stuff get vetted or at least passes by the legislature, what with them being a second branch of government and all of that stuff. Is it possible that we might be able to start thinking about a calendar in the late spring and summer that brings back certain events? I'm thinking, we've got the 4th of July thing, the big Denenia that we do down in Tumon. You remember the block party? Some people call it the Glock Party, but we won't mention Ray's name here. So we got the Glock Party block party that goes on down there. Liberation festivities that have been on hold for the last 2 years. My understanding is that guys at the mayor's office and PD in particular, they're actually throwing around the idea of maybe doing some kind of a parade. Wouldn't it be great if we had a parade in Tumon?
Well, our favorite mayor from PD reached out to GBB and asked if any way that we can collaborate and do the parade together. So he's pretty smart in doing that way because we have a lot of adept people here. And so, yes, we're helping for that parade. And, yes, we might be able to do something in Tumon. There's a lot of different possibilities. But certainly it's the festiveness of what we have to portray in sending out our video and stuff like that to our source countries to see that Guam is indeed really open and you can't see any one particular restriction. And I just hope that it's just the hospital that we look at in setting other criteria forward. So we're hoping that yes, we can get back to some kind of normalcy. I think our trip in the first week of April is key. When we sit face to face, as Hawaii did, and sitting face to face with Koreans, as CNMI did, it's time that we go there, and not because we didn't want to. It's just that there was some kind of a major restriction for any travelers coming into Korea.
Yeah, hard time there. Okay, so now what about Taiwan? You and I were very excited about Taiwan towards the late summer and early fall of last year. And then, of course, we had the Omicron variant that came through, and that basically hit the pause button on everything. You've still got all those strong connections with the Taiwanese influential community and their travel authority here. Are there restrictions that look like they could be subsiding soon in Taiwan?
Yes, from what I've heard, yes. As a matter of fact, we were given 2 slots to go to the Smart City Expo without quarantine. Unfortunately, because Korea also started to open up, and I think that's where we should go first. We opted out of that particular offer, and so Korea is the key right now. We've got 6 airlines that are ready to do that, and hopefully our own, local hometown carrier will start reconsidering, and hopefully putting back Korea and Taiwan in their market, and that we hook up with Palau to make sure that it's a sustainable route. The Palau, Guam, Korea, Palau, Guam, Taiwan market, because then we'll have at least 4 airlines out of Taiwan.
All right. Well, there are a couple of other factors that will influence the decisions to whether to come to Guam or not. Are we an affordable destination right now? Based on your estimation, talking to people on the ground there, are they happy? Are they satisfied with some of the prices that they're seeing that the Koreans are going to have to pay? They seem to be a price-sensitive market that we're reaching into. Are we safe enough for them? Safe enough COVID-wise? Safe enough? Have we done enough to move off some of the scary homeless people down in Tumon? We don't want to see a resurgence of crime and street crime at that, just because we've got people in the market now that we know have money, like the tourists.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the safety part, because there were some goings on here in the last couple of weeks that it didn't even make the news, but we know that there's some crazies out here. And so when the governor and the lieutenant governor announced that they would bring back at least 100 retired police officers with a bonus, I managed to get one retired police officer when he gets picked up to be assigned to GVB.
Cool.
And that police officer with a badge working with the VSOs with G4S, I think is going to also enhance our safety considerations here at Tumon. So things are looking up, but we're making sure that safety is first. There are crazies out there that, you know that. I mean, that one lady that got cut up unnecessarily, in the beach. That was not too many people know about that. But
it happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I read a little bit about that story, and just a crazy thing. The guy makes an advance on some woman on the beach at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then comes. She says no. Imagine that. Comes back with a machete and slices her up. So it looks like we've got to work on 24 hours a day security down in that part of the island. As far as in terms of affordability, I guess we're everybody's got inflation wherever they are or wherever they are from. So what's expensive in Korea is probably going to be expensive here too.
Absolutely. I mean, the optional tour, the transportation from the airport, everything has gone up. You know that. And so I don't know what else we can do short of cash. The governor and the lieutenant governor and public health really did us a great service to underwrite most of this free PCR testings before they go back to their source countries, our source countries.
Right.
So those things add up, and I'm never short of begging the governor to continue to look at some of those funds so that we can compete with how CNMI, for example, put in $50 million for incentives, $15 million only to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to keep up with them because our competition is not within, it's out there. And if we are quietly taking away the budget that we had planned because some members, want to micromanage GVB, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Don't disagree. If you want to, you can mention names, but it's 8:33 in the morning. Donna's going to take care of some headlines in a second. Colleen, I was really sad when you told me that you were leaving, and I'm sad to hear that you're actually at a point where you can count on two hands the number of days you've still got with GVB. I know you've done a great job with the organization, even before Uncle Carl and Jerry were at the place, and I know that you've done a lot of growing there. Good luck to you in New York.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the opportunities that GVB has given me over the past couple of years. And, I'm going to make everyone proud. I'm going to represent Guam in New York, so looking forward to it.
Well, and, after that first winter, when you go, brr, I don't want to spend another day here, and you see pictures of sunsets over at Jimmy D's and Governor Flores Memorial Park and the rest of Tumon, we'll go ahead and let you come back.
Yep, and I'm sure that I'll do whatever I can to kick open another position for her.
Right on. 8:34 in the morning. I suppose it might be one last thing for you, Gov, before I'm done. You don't just sit at the Guam Visitors Bureau. You've also got some stripes when it comes to helping rebuild the economy. And as we seem to be turning the corner, a little bit more of COVID-19 in the rearview mirror than it is in front of us. What are your thoughts about what with the last of the restrictions that need to be lifted, like mask mandates and things like that, but what more can be done for the private sector? There's a whole bunch of guys that are hearing the good news about Korea and other source markets going, okay, if I can hold on just a little bit longer, what kind of encouragement can you give them to keep the lights on a little bit more? Maybe expand opening hours and things like that.
Well, of course, we weren't short in giving out help from GIDA. Mel's been there helping give out someone to keep standing up there and open up their business. We're trying to make sure that as they see the people come in, as we make our trek to Korea and see positive news, that they should really start getting some sense of hope, and they can start opening up, getting their people back. There's more programs I believe the governor and the lieutenant governor want to provide with GIDA to continue to help them sustain their numbers of employees and get employees back to work in preparation over the next 2 months. Because I believe that April, May, there's going to be a lot of flights coming in and a lot of tourists, maybe not the most tourists that you've seen in the past, but a lot of them, unlike the last 2 years.
I got into a elevator at the Tsubaki, and there was a family, mom, dad, couple of kids from Korea, and they get into the elevator, and as it opened up on my floor, I turned around and said, "Thank you very much for choosing Guam." And the guy kind of smiled through his mask and said, "Oh, you're welcome." And I thought, well, it says maybe go a little bit of a way to them saying, those people on Guam are really nice. They smell funny, but they're otherwise really nice people. Gov, Colleen, Gabedo, so nice to talk to you. Hope we get a chance to rub shoulders before everybody takes off. And I'll see you soon, Gov.
Thank you, Ray, for allowing us.
Oh, no problem. Oh, and one last thing. Fendania's been extended, right? We're going to do another 6 weeks of Fendania?
Yeah. Yes, the people, particularly our residents, are really, really excited about this Fendania, and they want it to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And Nico and Sydney and the crew are out there pushing it forward into April, and we'll see what happens. We're having, even some kind of live bands going on, and of course, John Ray Ugden is there.
Yep.
And
the Carabao.
We're missing Dennis Larson with his honey. I hope he's got his operation done in Hawaii on his way back next week.
Done.
So he can get people down there. The local people in the survey want it to continue, and I think it behooves us to put our money into spending some more of the extension out there.
It is a great time. I tell you what, how I know it's a great time is there's a bunch of guys that I usually hang out with on Friday night, a little further up the beach, and they've decided since we're doing Fendanya Friday, we're going to mix it up. We're going to go either do Fendanya or the regular spot, and then Fendanya, and just kind of alternate between the two because there's food there in addition to the beer drinking that we're doing on the beach. Well, I'll introduce you to them. You'll love them. 8:38, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for pushing that concept forward, Ray. I tell you, it wasn't for your push there, I think it might have missed us.
I don't know why I'm not. People aren't demanding that I become governor. I just, for heaven's sakes. Hug and a kiss to Auntie Jerry. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. Yeah, I'm a pretty big deal around here.
You're huge in Japan too, Ray.
That's it. What can I say? It's the trim. I trimmed my beard yesterday. Did you notice?
No, I didn't. Now that you said something, yeah, you brought it down, man.
Yeah. So my birthday's coming up, and my daughter says, "Oh, Dad, I'd like to see your face a little bit more." Okay, well, is this enough? Are you getting enough face here? We got Donna D coming up, and she's going to give us our last look at news and headlines next.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take-Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take-Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take-Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take-Care, our island, your health plan.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways a Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
It's one of my favorite themes. This is music playing in the background because it sounds like the theme from what is it? The
Kojak?
No, it's the
$1 Million Man.
It's the SWAT theme from SWAT.
Okay, you're right. Yes,
does a little bit of the theme from SWAT in the background there, and that's interesting. Crime, a big subject here this morning, and maybe some of it has to do with that headline that we're talking about, where Adriatico wants to get out of jail it's got like 11 life sentences and 150 years worth of time behind bars, and he's only served like 38 of them. So, he might be thinking, I'm a much older man now. It's got to be, pushing 60 or something. He's 20 or so years old when he was involved in that shooting spree back in the 1980s, and thinking, maybe if I can convince a judge that I've turned a leaf, I'm a new man. Prison has made me a new man.
But he also said he has health complications from COVID. So that's one of the reasons why he wants to.
Great.
Whatever. I'm sorry. The answer is no. If I was the judge in this one, I wouldn't need to think about it at all. N-O, it is one consonant and a vowel. And those are the only two that I'm working with today when it starts coming in with guys that basically, helped hold this town hostage for as long as they did and took too many lives with them. And there's old Southern slang. I use it with Joe every once in a while, and it sounds hard, but it's true. Some people deserve killing, and in this place, and I don't know if we're going to do this all legal and all, but there are some people that just need to be pushed over a pier. If you ask me. 8:41 in the morning. Who am I thinking of? Stephen King style. We're going to do. I was watching a thing on Facebook when I was bored yesterday. One of those reels that they've got there about cruel and unusual torture ways and stuff like that. It gets in my head. And you know me, no filter on the radio, so it's coming out. Donna D, did you enjoy your first day doing the news here?
Man, I don't know how you can get up this early.
Well, alarm clock.
I kept snoozing mine. I'm like,
I have the alarm clock on there's the phone, and then because it's a Apple phone, you can set up 2 or 3 other alarms. So I've got one that goes off at 4:05 every morning. And then I have one at 4:06, and then I have another one at 4:10, and then there's another one in the kitchen at 4:30 that says, "Why are you still home to hear this? You should be on your way to get the newspaper and go hang out with Real Joe." But that, if you ask me, that's the hardest part of the job. All of the rest of it is just fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what she says. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you, boss man. All right, Donna D, take it away. What's the big deal here in the last look at news and headlines?
A new indictment was issued against one of the two defendants accused of murdering former Umatic Mayor Daniel Sanchez. Rudy Kanata pleaded not guilty to special allegations of possession or use of a deadly weapon in court last Friday, adding to the list of charges, including murder and aggravated assault. Kanata's trial was scheduled to begin tomorrow with jury selection. And the Guam Board of Medical Examiners have closed a sexual harassment case against Dr. Ugochukwu Akoma due to insufficient evidence. The woman who filed the report says she was a patient and is disappointed by the decision. The board says the case could be reopened if new evidence is discovered and encouraged the victim to seek legal consultation. 3 complaints have been filed against Akoma, and records show that he has a history of similar offenses involving female patients and coworkers. And new schedules for COVID-19 vaccination and testing starts this week. The vaccination clinic has been moved to the Agana Shopping Center, 2nd floor, Monday to Saturday from 11 to 5. Appointments can be made online at tinyurl.com/vaxguam. And COVID testing at the old Carnival Grounds in Tidzin will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 3, and Saturdays from 8 to 11. Make an appointment online at tinyurl.com/COVID-stops-with-me. And that was your last look at local headlines. Reporting for The Point, I'm Donna De Jesus.
All right, well, thank you very much. One of the things I like to do here towards the end is talk about celebrity birthdays. You know, a lot of guys in radio, they took that into the first hour of the show and waste time that way. But not me. You know, here we are. What is this, the second or third?
Yeah.
This is the 3rd hour of the show, right?
It's
I'll put it here and waste time here. Michael Caine, the actor, is 89 years old. Our favorite Michael Caine movie is?
I don't even know who Michael Caine is.
The British guy, right?
The British guy.
Oh.
What was that movie that he did with Sandra Bullock when she was in the pageant?
Yeah, I don't.
Miss Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality, one of the finest Michael Caine movies there are. He's done a bunch more, but that might have been my favorite one because he was a pageant coach for her. And what was this? The last one? The last one that he lost against was deaf, dumb, blind, mute, whatever. He says you just can't beat that. You just can't. All right, so he's 89 years old today. Quincy Jones is 89 years old. One of my favorite Quincy Jones albums is The Dude. And it's got that tune in I Know Corrida, but Quincy Jones also responsible for production of some of Michael Jackson's greatest hits from back in the 1980s. Do you recall?
Nope.
Nope. Really?
Nope.
Wow.
I'm just staring at you.
That's
Want me to
okay.
look it up?
All right. No, you don't have to. I'll tell Real Joe to look it up later. Billy Crystal, 74 years old. Billy Crystal, of course, from, didn't he play Batman?
The Princess Bride.
Didn't he play Batman, though?
Oh, yeah,
What?
he did.
No,
Billy Crystal?
He was the best Batman.
Maybe he will
was
play Batman.
after
I'm thinking of Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. We went from him to Billy Crystal. He's not totally dead. He's only mostly dead. Which I love that. And then the old lady yelling, "Shut up! Shut up!" I love that scene. Chris Klein from American Pie is celebrating a birthday today, 43 years old. Stephen Curry from National Basketball Association. You remember the basketball guy?
Oh, yeah.
Is 34 years old. And Simone Biles is 25 years old. Gymnast Simone Biles. Anybody remember?
No.
Not at all.
Simone.
Is that the one that had the meltdown at the last Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, it is, and that will get you on the celebrity birthday list every year from now on. Now they don't put the meltdown gymnast. They should say that so people know who we're talking about. Celebrate events today. The special events are it's celebrate. Wait a second, I got to get some pictures from what's his name, James Howard, who sent me. Apparently, it's Iced Tea Day somewhere out in the world, and so we've apparently got some art for Iced Tea Day. Celebrate Scientist Day. It's Dribble Tour Day. Fill Our Staplers Day. Vital. Ask a question day. Learn about butterflies day. Potato chip day. Save everybody's favorite potato chip. Do we have one? You know what
Pringle.
sucks as well?
The Pringle.
What flavor?
Barbecue.
Whatever flavor you like. There are 15 other flavors where Keena McCausland works at the Walmart. There's a whole wall of nothing but potato chips and flavors that you've never. They're probably vanilla potato chips that they've got into place. Save a Spider Day, Workplace Napping Day, Write Your Story Day, Science Education Day. It's 314, also known in mathematics as Pi Day.
Hey, that's
Not
right.
Friday, Pi Day. What an interesting year we've had. We've had Tuesday and now we've got Pie Day in front of us. 8:47 in the morning, and I think that's all I got to kill time with. I'm going to leave those pictures of the pretty girls on the screen and a pretty girl on the phone after these.
Their date.
What'd they say?
You make me melt.
Oh, so cheesy. But not as cheesy as Subway's latest Eat Fresh Refresh menu innovation. The new Fresh Melts with 3 times the cheese. Fresh Melts are the cheese lover's holy grail. Fresh Melts combine freshly baked breads and your favorite meats topped with a triple load of cheese. All grilled to warm, toasty perfection. Try the ham and cheese melt, tuna melt, or steak and cheese melt to start. Best of all, you can make any footlong into a fresh melt. At Subway, eat fresh.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggin from Security Title, and in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi y Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Away from the top of the hour, 888-8255-888-TALK preview. Donna's asking about maybe we get some people in here to do an interview for, I guess they're doing Miss Saigon.
Oh.
And the question is, can we, they're looking for people to audition.
Oh, you mean the theater?
Theater. Theater. The stage, as it were. Yeah, we got to talk like that when they come in here. Have you ever been in a play? You ever do
No, I was never in one, but I saw one, Mamma Mia.
Which one?
That was at UOG.
They've done
last
8
year,
Mamma Mias on Guam
3 years
last
ago.
couple
2 years ago.
Is that the one?
She was in it.
Was Artie in it? Or that was a different group?
That was a different group.
Okay, so Artie was in the Ernest the Choco version. You were in the other one. Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Was there a big difference between the two of them? See, this is the thing. We got to, let me stand on this for a second. This might be one of the most talented people that you've never heard of, unless you're kind of in the circle that she's in. She's a talented musician, write and sing and do all of that stuff. And so, yeah, when it comes to putting together stage acts, she's blushing. It's all blushing now. But anyway, so Donna D, and you'll get to know her a little bit more as the mornings progress here. 8:50 in the morning. Am I supposed to do a read or something?
No.
I can just go straight to her.
Straight to Janella.
Chanel, as it were. A couple of pretty girls on the screen a few minutes ago, and a pretty girl on the line. Good morning, Janella. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
You know what? I'm. Oh yeah, Chanel is saying hi to you. Oh hi. Hi. Oh girlfriend, how you doing? Oh my God. I love that. I'm sorry. It just tickles me so much. Anyway, 10 away from the top of the hour. And I'm doing all right. I'm so excited. This has been just a heady last couple of weeks for me, Chanel, because word came out a couple of weeks ago, was it Friday before last, that you can buy me that beer finally over at the venue.
I heard.
Dude, they've stocked up on all my favorites. We got the Stella Artois, we got the Michelob Ultra, both kinds, and they've even found a bottle of Café de Serrano, de Serrano. It's an almond liqueur that they make just this incredible. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, right? So they've got. So hurry up, whatever you got to do, and we'll go cruise with Phil. And it's always, the gossip is always great over at venue. So we'll go together and make some gossip. What do you say?
I'm trying to save money right now.
Well, is there not? Could we not put this down as a business expense?
No.
Did public health not give you a company credit card?
Of course not. No Guam agencies are allowed to have company credit cards. It's in the law.
Yeah, just put it in for reimbursement. I'm sorry, I had to. I had to deal with them with the media. They'll look the other way at Department of Administration. They just go, it's whatever. It's with Gibson, approved. Anything that gets us good airtime with Gibson is approved here. 8:52 in the morning. So Chanel, like I said, had been a heady last couple of weeks. Last week, the restrictions on outdoor gatherings went from 100 folks down to basically unlimited with whatever mitigations are going to be required for whatever events. And now asking for a friend. Does this mean that we can go back to having regularly scheduled fundraising gala, not gala gala events, but like 5Ks, 10Ks out on the streets. Does this give rise to that as a covered and allowed activity?
That's correct. Yeah. So outdoor events, there are no limitations on the amounts of people that can gather.
Nice.
Provided that we could do well. I mean, if it's a 5K, right? It's a sports activity. But we should continue to just incorporate all the mitigation measures, mask wearing if you're not actively engaged in a sporting activity. But as much as possible, we just be mindful of all the other mitigation measures.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I'll say yeah, whatever. Because I'm just sure I'll have my mask and we'll make it so that our bibs can be used as masks as well. So it'd be like a mask with a number on it, and then with the raffle tear off on the side. I think we can work out the logistics on that. So if you're listening to the broadcast right now and you've been aching to do a 5K fundraiser for whatever it is, I mean there's 101 groups on Guam that have not had the ability to do 5K fundies over the last couple of years. Okay, well, now that restriction has been lifted, I would call Joe Taitano and from the running group and Richard Taitagui from the Guam Running Club, Guam Track and Field and Guam Running Club. Get those guys together and let's see if we all remember how to build these 5Ks. I think it's going to be fun. That first big one back is going to be very, very interesting to see how much faster some of the guys have gotten versus how much slower some of the guys have gotten because of the COVID-19. All right. Now, the other thing is that now are there new restrictions? I got a call from Mary Rhodes late Friday, and there's another piece of DPHSS guidance that has gone out. Now, I sometimes when I read those, I feel like I have to read the other ones that came in prior to find out what's changed. But there have been a number of changes now to the way like restaurants and hotels and folks in that industry are doing business. I understand the plexiglass can go away now and other changes.
Right, yeah. So, like for example, dining tables. This actually was implemented a couple of guidance memos ago. So the tables don't actually need to be 6 feet apart any longer. But the mask wearing still needs to be there, except for when you're eating. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Plexiglass doesn't need to be put up anymore.
Wait. No, that's a big one. I mean, let's stand on that. As first I heard about it was over the weekend. So that means that the plexiglass that really doesn't do all that much to control the spread of COVID-19 at the gas station and whatever banks or whatever, everybody that's put these things up can remove them now without fear of penalty.
Yeah, well, so the plexiglass was just an added layer in the event you're not able to do the physical distancing and your tables are too close together. So that was more of like an alternative if you weren't able to keep your tables far enough apart or in the park. So you can remove those now because if your tables are if we no longer require tables to be 6 feet apart, then the plexiglass really doesn't serve any purpose as well either.
Agree. Happy to hear about that. And we'll hope down the road that people will be able to, I don't know, be a little bit closer to each other. I don't know, now, what about the thing at the drive-thru? I go to a lot of drive-thrus because I'm a bachelor, and I note that some of the drive-thrus that I go to, I give them my cash or my credit card, and they put it in a little Tupperware thing, and then they give it back to me in the Tupperware. Can they stop doing that? Because I just think it's silly.
Well, some of those establishments, that was something that they had just implemented on their own. And if they want to continue to do that, they can. But that's not something that we had required for them to do. It was probably something they included in their mitigation measures when they submitted it to public health. But that was not something that we had required for them to do necessarily. It was more like, put something, a layer of protection if you want to wear gloves, or put it in a container if you want to limit, touching of hands, but that's really not a requirement. Wearing of masks, it was something that we had encouraged, and also turning off your air conditioning. It was something that we had encouraged, but was not a requirement.
Well, gas is at $6, sweetheart. So the air conditioner is off most of the time I'm in the car anymore because I need to make my gasoline budget go as far as possible. Now, by way of being able to help other people, spread stretch their food dollar in particular, I guess there was some movement and everybody is on the same page on who now is eligible for the PEBT cards. And with a couple of minutes left in this hour, forth. The numbers have increased now, and there should be another one of these submissions going out to get people to line up for their PEBT cards.
Yeah, so it was actually approved by FNS a little over a week ago, and we actually just received word over the weekend that we're going to be partnering with the Micronesia Mall. So it looks like the distribution center is going to be Micronesia Mall, just like we did for the first round. We're probably not going to be distributing to all 26,000 students because we're hoping that most of the parents had hung on to their EBT cards for the first round. So the second round of distribution of cards is probably going to be a lot less, and I think there's probably only going to be maybe 4,000 or 5,000 cards we're going to need to distribute.
Okay.
But the latest word we have is Micronesia Mall has agreed to be a distribution site, and then for those parents who did misplace their cards and need a replacement card, we're going to set that up over at our Rand Care building in Tamaning. That's our office for pickup. This is for the replacement cards. And then as far as the actual date of when we're going to release the cards, that we don't have a date yet, so we'll be announcing that as soon as we can figure out a date for when we'll be releasing it. But it's a one-time distribution of $438. So it's all 26,000 or so students from the first round, plus an additional 7,000 students who also qualified. And these are students who were enrolled in Head Start, students or children 6 and under who are enrolled in the SNAP program, plus an additional late filers or late students who are added on into the summer program.
How much federal money is going into this now?
We were trying to calculate it, and you're looking at roughly, and I'm just, this is a rough estimate.
That's fine.
A little over 14 million. It may be more or less, but around 14 million, maybe a little bit more.
All right. I got you. Chanel, always a pleasure talking with you. I wish we had more time, but I got Fox News Live breathing down my neck. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right. Have a great day. What is it? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. KUSG Aganya. We are The Point.
Forced to leave home. I'm Marie Corsetti, Fox News. The United Nations estimates that over 2.5 million refugees have fled Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion.
Refugees come from all across the country to various cities, not just the small border towns anymore. This was once an old train station here in Krakow, and now it is bed after bed. Cities say they cannot keep up with all of the people who have arrived here. There's some pets in here as well, cats that have made this journey, of course, a very difficult, emotional couple weeks. A lot of the people in this room are strangers, but they're in beds next to each other talking about what they've shared, that trauma that they've experienced all together in their same country, now fleeing here to Poland.
Fox's Alex Hogan. This as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky used social media on Sunday to share a message of hope.
It's impossible to say how many days we still have to free Ukrainian land, but we can say we will do it because we want it. It's a patriotic war against a very stubborn enemy which doesn't pay attention to thousands of its own killed people, killed soldiers, which collects reservists and conscripts to throw them into the hell of this war.
Ukrainian troops have held off Russian forces from reaching Ukraine's capital of Kyiv for over 2 weeks. Meanwhile, a bipartisan coalition of U.S. House members is urging the White House to provide more Ukrainian support.
Most of the members of the House's Problem Solvers Caucus took a stance urging the White House to do more to support Ukraine resistance against Russia. The caucus urged transfer of surface-to-air missile systems, drone support, and aircraft for Ukrainian pilots. The caucus specifically mentioned Soviet-era MiG-29 combat jets to defend the airspace. U.S. defense officials have balked at such a transfer, saying it could be construed by Russia as direct American involvement.
Fox's Grandma Scott. America is listening to Fox News.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
A U.S. official says missiles from Iran were fired towards a U.S. consulate in Iraq.
At least a dozen missiles were fired toward the U.S. consulate in Erbil, Iraq. Senior U.S. official tells Fox News the missiles came from Iran. That official says none of them made contact with the consulate, which is new and unoccupied, and all U.S. personnel are accounted for, nobody injured. In addition, no one has claimed responsibility. The government of Iraq and the Kurdish regional government is investigating. The last time missiles were fired from inside Iran was January 2020 in response to the U.S. killing of Iran's military commander Qasem Soleimani. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Also new tonight, former President Barack Obama says he's tested positive for the coronavirus, but he's feeling relatively healthy, and his wife Michelle tested negative. Obama, who is vaccinated and boosted, tweeted that he's had a scratchy throat for a couple days but is feeling fine. He also encouraged more Americans to get vaccinated despite the declining infection rate in the U.S. There were roughly 35,000 infections on average over the past week, down sharply from mid-January when the average was closer to 800,000. Plus, President Biden blames Vladimir Putin for rising gas prices, but others continue to blame Biden.
President Biden does not want his name anywhere near the word inflation. As the new Wall Street Journal poll now finds, that is the #1 issue voters are most concerned about. But the president admitted his policies did contribute to inflation, specifically the stimulus checks attached to the American Rescue Plan, a real problem for lawmakers from energy-producing states. Red tape. The president claims oil and gas companies can drill here if they want to, but producers are saying that climate-minded executive orders are making that impossible. Unity and financial punishment are the president's preferred approach. No U.S. troops are going to Ukraine to fight Russians.
Fox's Peter Ducey, I'm Mary Corsetti, and this is Fox News.
Get a box of Post or Kellogg's cereal for only 99 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Get a 75-ounce bottle of Dawn dish soap for only $5.95 when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Get a Bounty paper towel 2-pack for only 99 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Introducing the phone that makes epic the standard, the Samsung Galaxy S22. This Galaxy is oh so beautiful and now available at GTA. Get the Samsung Galaxy S22 on HPO with the Live Limitless wireless plan and enjoy unlimited talk, text, high-speed data, and more for only $55 a month. And for a limited time, when you buy the Samsung Galaxy S22, you'll receive a $200 gas card for free. Come in today and make the Samsung Galaxy and Live Limitless your epic standard. Terms and conditions apply. GTA. We start with you.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise and we are here to help. We have revised Program Salapi to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by my friends over at Mescla. And you got to try the food. All right, if you're new here and you're going, all right, where do I go for the best tomorrow plate on Guam and the best experience, best service? It's got to be Mescla. The location they've got in downtown, I'm getting you. Give them a ring a little bit later on. I'll give you the phone number so that you can make your reservations and then ask them questions about, what kind of specials they got. Hey, we got new fish in town, working on a new recipe. They're always working on something. It's Guam's favorite Chamorro fusion restaurant. But like I said, they'll also give you a homegrown Chamorro plate like you're eating in the backyard. We've got burgers there, keto-friendly menu, and more. Enjoy the incredible half-a-day service at 479-2652. That's 479-26524 Mescla.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
Hold on, I gotta send myself something from my MTM Neighborhood Watch chat. We'll get into a conversation in a couple of minutes about the state of the island. There's two islands of Guam. Really, there's the kind where you listen to politicians and policymakers, etc. There's the one that they live in that bears almost no resemblance to the Guam that most other people live in, where you got to go up and down streets, you got to navigate yourself through the potholes and try to stay away from the sides of the street where the abandoned vehicles are, and then at certain times of day where the place seems to be populated but nothing but young thugs walking around with absolutely nothing to do. Well, but more on that in a second. Before I get there, I do got to make a couple of announcements here. One of them is John Ananich said he's got big wave for me. He said, we got big wave. Yeah, Sidelines. Apparently over the weekend they had like a little soft grand reopening. So Sidelines is back open behind Bix.
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, congratulations. So yay, big wave. And then I said, is there food there? Is there food? Because it's one of those things. Is Big Wave one of those meals that just tastes better when there's some food attached to it? Now, I got this. This picture here, it is of a dog, a poodle, in Tumon. Behind the building of Foxy and Tops Massage. When you're exiting the ABC store, that side. Does that location ring a bell to you, Joe? When I say Club Foxy's, you're going, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not.
Exactly.
Hey,
I got the coordinates. You want them?
We have the coordinates. Now, the dog may still be there. The person that saw it was trying to pick it up, but they could not stop to conduct some kind of a rescue. So if you're in the area and that poodle is still kind of on the loose out there, do me a favor, pick it up. And when you have the dog and a little bit of information, because it looks like it's got a collar on that, then let me know, and we will bounce the information to Candid. And between our viewers and listeners and Candid's viewers and listeners, we ought to be able to make a connection and find the owner of this dog. If you have lost a pretty brown poodle, it's next to Club Foxy and Tops Massage, or as we say, the ABC store. That's going to be the
How much
polite...
is the ransom rate?
I don't know what
the reward.
I don't know
the reward. I mean.
For gas. Wow. I need that for gas. 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning. So we got that. 888-8255-888-TALK. I want to do some shouts while I'm thinking about it to some folks that are online and checking out the program. Ray Duckanayawa, Roger Ranson, George Cabrera, Jennifer L.G. Mendiola, Renee Benny is there, Brennan Fausto. I got Susan Bajkusa, Francis Duffy, Rich Leon checked in. So did Carl Meyer, Kathy Anderson, Tracy Limtiaco from over at the Power Shop, Michelle Lasonko, Joanne Billaby, June Paddock, Marcy Wenzel, Robbie Cabreza is there, living in the Pacific. Likewise, Marvin Tuncap, and hey, there's Coach Joe Cepeda online. Donna Mila Martinez, her thoughts on the medical board. She says it needs to be shut down. Papa Josie Cruz, nice to have you there. Al Camacho, Sirs Ease, Joel Powell, Ruben Mortera, Jean Bajogo, Doris St. Nicholas. I got Bandit on the line. Phil from Venues there. Rose Piccini, John Brown, Joe Jerry. I'm not making up these names. These are actual viewers of the show. I got Jose Martinez, Shelly Gibson saying, Donna, you did a good job. MJ Perez and Dave Rowley, Vanessa Lynn, Clarice GB. Is that the Clarice that sells ads for K-Stereo, for radio? Might be, right?
Maybe.
What are you doing listening over here?
Hello, Clarice.
You want a job? I got a good list. John Williams says, Ray's talking about 5-5 Beach by the cave where the strippers would sunbathe naked before COVID. I was? Was I?
That's your spot, Ray.
There it is. Well, it is now. Do you have the coordinates? Can you drop a pin there, my brother? The mom of the show is there. Linda Sablon, Netadog. I got Francis Bloss, Norma St. Nicholas, Aquino Maipi. Hi, Renanim, I think is the greeting for Aquino. Good to have you there. James Lujan, Ursel Cook Jr., Lou Bumba, Zani Martinez, Ali Malakas, Randy Kruger, Ardeen Negrita. A huge crowd here this morning. It seems to be getting bigger. I'm looking for some cool names. I like this one here. Boon Fang Wong.
Oh, I like it too, man.
Watching the program. Good to have you there. And if I didn't get to your name, I'm really, really sorry. We'll work on this and see what's going. Ooh, Anya Sablan Leon Guerrero is online. I had some interesting conversations with her over the weekend and conversations about that online store they've got, Coochie's. Got anything new?
No, special.
There's no. There might be a couple of requests coming in for whatever. Anyway, it's at 9:12 in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. Now with me in the studio, she's been hanging out watching the process, and she's seen it before. Leah Metra is in the studio, and normally when Leah's in the studio, we spend some time talking about athletics and sports activities for kids. Bringing in some celebrities from the states, football players, basketball players,
NBA people.
Coaches, and then doing clinics for the kids. Haven't really been able to do a lot of that since COVID.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not that I haven't been inactive on that. I've been talking to people, even the Lakers coach, Phil Handy, who's been here before. Yeah, I've definitely spoken to him. But COVID, made it really difficult and kind of sad. Everyone is obviously suffering, but the poor kids that are stuck indoors, it's pretty.
What about the poor adults they're stuck with?
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm sorry. I just, I got to throw it. Oh, it's for the children. You meant we have to worry about our kids. What about the grown-ups that they got stuck with? There's,
it's hard. It is. But, it's nice to see athletics are back. I'm really happy to see that.
Well, they got past the matopping finally. This nonsense about, the kids have got to compete with masks on, and then they can take the mask off, but only one of their parents and a friend can come and watch the games. And now it looks like most of the restrictions on that have been lifted, and we recognize, it's exercise. Okay, so go ahead and do your thing, do your competition, have as many people as possible come and root you on.
Right.
And just, as we were supposed to be doing before, if you can't maintain social distancing, who cares? Wear a mask if you want to. But we're moving back to that normalcy phase.
Yes.
Hopefully. Last time I said that out loud, we got hit with Omicron.
Yeah.
But we can now begin to plan for some of those kinds of things. So I hope it happens again. In the meantime, we worry about the safety of our kids when they're away from the house. And oddly, you are here not to talk about getting together and having clinics for the kids. But wow, what's happening with crime in the neighborhood?
I don't know. Our neighborhood in particular, I'm sure it's happening other places. I'm just being the outspoken one to represent,
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, who'd have thought? I actually was pretty quiet. I don't really chat. I'm not on the chat. We actually have our neighborhood watch WhatsApp group chat. And lately it's been blowing up, at night especially, because all kinds of things, activities that are, actually really scary, are happening. And like I said, I know we're not the older neighborhood who's experiencing this. There are certain tenants in certain houses in our neighborhood that we notice that there are a lot of the kids that I guess are part of that household out on the streets, like you said.
All hours, day and night.
All hours, day and night. And I was telling our group the other night, I said, how can there be like 20, 30 people living in a house, right? And why are the kids always out on the street, right? So I told I mentioned the group, I said, you know what? It's probably the fact that they all can't fit in the house at the same time. So they take turns, right? So maybe the adults say, no, you guys get out at night. We are going to be in here. And then the kids, then they switch.
Or
there
might not be any parents around because they're working two jobs, hustling whatever the rent is.
Exactly.
To live, I'm not going to say in that fancy neighborhood, but and because it's one of those neighborhoods, you'll go through and say, oh my God, would you look at that? That's a beautiful mansion. That must cost $5 or $6 million or something. And then right next to it, as you say, is somebody with an old ramshackle built in the 1960s house that they've rented out apparently to 2 or 3 families at a time.
And I think that's what's been happening a lot lately is people who don't, original owners moved on, right? And so they've sold their property maybe once or even twice.
Or maybe just abandoned it. That happens a lot too.
And unfortunately that this perfectly describes our neighborhood, right? But then there's those of us who've been there a long time, obviously, seen all kinds of things, people come and go. But lately, within the last, I'm going to say 5 to 6 months or within actually the year, it's just this activity where there are these young, I'm going to call them thugs, so I don't know what else to call them.
So I'm a member again of the MTM Neighborhood Watch, and thankfully because we got guys out there that are surveilling the hood, as it were, all the time and looking for people that might be causing trouble. And I'll give you an example. No audio on this one, Joe, but here's a video of surveillance going on, and the guy's driving through. He's actually talked to these guys, and there's 3 3 guys, middle of the night, walking around the neighborhood like looking for trouble, as it were. Might have been drinking somewhere, might be looking for someplace else to go and loiter. You just go, all right, well, what is going to be happening here? What's the end game? What are we going to start doing about this? I worry after that, because that's what it's like in my neighborhood. And my guess is that could look like your street, any of the streets in your place, anytime.
In fact, I think it was Thursday night, our chat blew up. There was police were in our neighborhood again. They patrol our neighborhood a lot because of the activity. They already know. They probably get the call at the station. They're like, head over to
here it comes again.
Yeah, so they're already used to us. So what happened the other night? There was someone was harassing one of our other neighbors. Broken glass, and so they called the cops. This guy just happened to be randomly walking through the neighborhood. And I think there was a couple of them throwing. I think there was 3 of them, and they're throwing broken glass on the road. And one neighbor's like, "Hey, stop that!" And then they're starting, trying to harass him. They call the cops. Cops arrest him, and then the cops told my neighbor, one of my neighbors, he's going to be out in a couple hours.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, let's use
What's the point of arresting him?
Now he's mad. He's going to come back and do worse.
Yeah, it's going to be a baseball bat in my car.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's just one of many, many incidences that have people really worried. They have no sense of what's the word I'm looking for? What's legal and what's illegal to do.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a Boy Scout to say, well, don't throw glass on the ground.
Yeah, that, but also the trespassing. They're going on some people's property trying to steal the fruits.
Happens
we have a breadfruit tree, banana, whatever, avocado. And so they're actually hiding in the trees sometimes. My neighbor took a picture of this guy
hiding in the tree.
In the breadfruit tree. And she took a picture and she put it on her WhatsApp chat. I'm like, are you for real? He's in the tree.
So basically, it's the same people that getting, having their pictures taken on the WhatsApp, and it's circulating around that group. Cops come by and effect an arrest, but they're right back in the village within I imagine, however long it takes to walk from the precinct back to the property.
Yeah, there's just so many of them.
Have you rounded up a bunch of men in the village and in the hood and said, let's go and speak some sense to them in a language that they'll understand? Is that legal? Because look, if they can't get in trouble, I don't see why anybody else.
Ray,
I'm not suggesting vigilante action.
No, not. But you have to take action. That's the
jungle
bottom line.
Justice.
Because if you don't do something now, they're just gonna feel more empowered, right? We want to take our power back, and that's what I put on our chat. Let's take our power back because we're homeowners. We live here. We don't want to see things get worse. We don't want to be known as a ghetto, because that's kind of we were joking about it on the chat, but. We don't want to live in fear.
Well, there's on top of that, we don't want it to be a ghetto. But then you think about your property values. I'm assuming you own your own home.
Yes.
How are you going to sell it if you got a bunch of thugs that live down the street? That's the first thing that a potential buyer is going to see.
Right, and it's really scary. You turn the corner where I'm at, and it's like, whoa, what happened to this place? Because like you said, our street used to be really nice, and the abandoned homes make it worse. Then you see all these strange characters walking around, and you are fearful. Every time I get out of my house, I have to take a good look, like 360, like, is anybody watching me? Is anybody down the street watching me? And then I have security cameras, so I can actually
which is great. So we have evidence of these guys.
And that's what I told them in the chat.
Nobody's afraid of it. That's what we're hearing, and that's what we're seeing.
They don't flinch. They're like, so
what's going to happen?
Well, and then they're like, oh, so I'll get arrested. I'll just get out of jail. So what? Who cares? It doesn't affect them. So the problem is, I just worry that this is just going to not only get worse, but more of these kinds of people are going to move into our neighborhood, because I can see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know how to prevent that. Right. People are free to go wherever this is still the United States of America. But it doesn't give you the right to harass your neighbors and be a pestilence in your community.
Yeah. So number one reason I'm here is to point that out to the leaders on this island. Come on. This is election year. I have to put that out there. We don't want to just hear promises. We don't want to just hear a lot of hot air. We don't want that. We want to hear some actual solutions so that we actually feel safe. And now, whatever.
They gave the cops a raise.
Well,
No.
I saw that.
You saw that?
I saw that.
We got a boat. They gave him a boat.
Yeah,
How's
and
that?
I sure hope that motivates them. But again, they're probably outnumbered too at the same
Look,
time.
and you know where I am on this. I'm a totally back the blue kind of guy. And
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, this is not a police work
No.
problem. The cops are out there.
Yes.
They've got all the tools. Virtually, and if they don't have the tools, they'll get the tools. But they know who the bad guys are.
and they're
they know
always-
who the
yes.
idiots are in this town.
Yes.
And they arrest them, and they go into a criminal justice system for which there doesn't seem to be any accountability for them. So any cop that you talk to, especially the ones that have already been up and down your street, I'm sure said, "Oh, them again."
Yes.
Them
In fact,
again.
We know because we see the patrol cars, and you'll see someone in the chat going, the cops are around, or if the cops are arriving for some kind of emergency, we always know, right? So I think it's really a good thing that our group is that, interactive, and they're very proactive at letting people know what's going on.
Have you now at MTM a couple of weeks ago? They had a neighborhood watch meeting, and actually included in the conversation. Grab that chair, Dennis, if you don't mind, and pull it up to that little curvy part there. Dennis, what is your last name again?
McMurray
is going to be joining the conversation as we talk about what is happening. It's just we're seeing this in neighborhood after neighborhood on Guam, where there's a population of folks that come in, don't seem to know what it takes to live in polite society, and as a result of that, become a nuisance in the town, and rocking around in the middle of the night. The kids mostly walking around in the middle of the night, unsupervised. No curfew laws seem to be in effect. Arrested by the cops and taken into custody for a couple of hours.
Yes.
Then they come right back out, is it?
And these guys, they live right behind me. And,
lucky you.
I'm right there monitoring them. I've been living in the neighborhood since 1972.
Well, and I know a lot of people that live. We haven't mentioned the name of the neighborhood. It's not that far as the crow flies from where I am right now. And a couple of different kinds of houses there. You got some of the ramshackle houses over here, Beverly Hillbillies, and then you've got the Beverly Hills style, properties that are gorgeous and beautiful. And unfortunately, the neighbors not that far away from those very Tony properties have managed to luck into one of those old houses that nobody seems to care about, and nobody cares about the conduct of the tenants that are staying in those properties.
Right. In fact, the guys that live behind me, they were right there looking over my fence. And many times during the mango season...
Did you show them your gun?
Oh,
sometimes you show them the gun.
They know I have something.
Okay, they know you're packing.
I have something. In fact, I still have to put up my surveillance cameras I bought from the States. I just came back.
We've talked about the Castle Doctrine on the radio. You're a believer now, I'm sure.
Yeah, like again, they were looking over my fence. They're looking up at the tree because it's going to be mango season. The flowers are coming out. A few months back, when the ending of mango season, a whole bunch of them came up to my dad's house, and they knocked on the door, and they said, "Hey, may we pick some mangoes?"
Oh,
and
that's nice.
My parents said, "No, we're selling these mangoes. It's for family, blah, blah, blah." And they said, "Oh, okay, thank you." A few minutes later, they were at the back picking the mangoes.
Oy.
3 or 4 guys, they were up in the trees, they were passing the mangoes, and they're putting in the bag. And my dad was yelling to the top of his lungs, saying, "Hey, I'm going to call the police. Get out, you're private property." And they just kept on going.
Don't care, like they didn't understand what was being yelled at them.
Right. And then when they done their thing, they passed my dad, and they said, "Oh, sorry," and then they left. Yeah. So, just a couple of weeks ago, I had my friend chop up a whole bunch of mango branches that leads up to their house. And now it's all nice and clean. But yesterday, when I was looking out my window, they're all looking up the tree, and they're getting all set up.
Yeah, waiting for you to turn your head. Not coming to the radio station. Did you have this feeling like I shouldn't leave the house? My God, if I leave the house, these guys are going to go through all my stuff.
Those were the days when I was working, and then I was never home, so they know I'm not home. So, but now I haven't been working because I've already
We
retired.
shouldn't,
so.
as a people here, need to have all of the security systems that a bank has available to us. I mean, there's so many people, back in the old days, a lock on a door and a sign that says no trespassing should be sufficient. But anymore, lock on the door, bars on the windows. We've got surveillance cameras over here and all of an alarm system and all of those kinds of things that I think a bank in the 1970s would be envious of. But we need that now in order to live and play. Now, I don't want to do any kind of profiling, but there's a certain way that we say they around here. And I'm going to assume that some of these folks are of Micronesian descent, maybe compact migrants. Have you had a chance to talk with representatives from their community, representatives from their church to intervene on your behalf?
Nothing. This is just the activity has increased so rapidly in the last few months. So none of us have had any time to even think about doing that, right? We're all just trying to figure out what the heck is happening, how to stay safe. Of course, like I said, solutions. That's what we need to figure out, because we can't be living in fear, like I said. And then our safety, you saw, like, what was it, a week ago, that skate park incident, those gangs there.
Kid got lost an eye as a result of that. And the thing is, and I categorize them as teens, even though many of them are over 18, some as young as their 20s. But they have been getting in trouble with the law for the last 3 or 4 years since they were teens. I don't think there was one kid that has been picked up in that melee here that wasn't did not have priors with the police department.
Right, and and you think, and his aunt is actually in our neighborhood, and she's putting on the post. That was my nephew that lost an eye. So I'm like, oh, geez, that's terrible, right? So of course we don't want our neighborhood to get to that point. We can't be, and they get bolder and bolder, right? Right, Dennis? That's what we're thinking.
Check with the mayor. Did we send the mayor on this one?
She's in our neighborhood.
She's in the neighborhood.
She is in our neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay, so
she's aware, and
firsthand.
The only thing that she assures us is that she's make sure GPD is aware, right? And they do come. I mean, there's not much that they can do. In fact, they told her, unless we have evidence, we can't really arrest them, right? Okay, fine.
Here's my surveillance.
Yeah, and so I have surveillance. Our other neighbors now are, like Dennis, he's adding on to his surveillance, and I put the idea out there to some people, and that's great, and the cameras can record, but we're still worried about our safety. Like you said, they get bold.
Sure.
They're like, so what if there's a camera? They'll probably smile for the camera.
They do.
They don't care.
As a matter of fact, they press the doorbell buttons and smile, and hey, you want to buy weed? And what they're doing is they're checking the perimeter, basically, wanting to find out if there's somebody in the house, and if it is it somebody that they might be able to overcome when they go and rob the place. Real Joe, did you send me that video? You did, right? Could you send it to the WhatsApp chat?
Sure, yeah.
It's a video of a lady, and this is another one of those things where they're just. We got to figure out how to take back the streets, as Leah says. We've got to be able to sort out how to do this. The cops are only capable of doing this to a certain degree, and then there's a slowdown in the process somewhere that allows these thugs, to get right back out on the street, where they will commit more crimes, waiting for their original court date to come up. And something needs to be done about that. There was a video that Real Joe is going to send, and it seems to me I might be able to run this thing on with audio in the background. And when I originally saw it, somebody had proposed that maybe it was a prank. Maybe this is just one of those things, because it looked like it was, it was a kind of a setup. But Real Joe got a copy of it from somebody, and the assurance is, no, this is on the level. This is for real. And it is basically a woman coming back in. From being out doing something, and it looks like the house has gotten broken into. Let me see if I can press this button and stick this up on the screen. And walking through the house, because things don't look right outside, and she's rolling into the kitchen. There's there audio on this, Joe? Because I think it's clean, right? Yeah, except for the screaming. And looking in that room there, walking down the hallway, nice floors, Home Depot, I recognize. And then comes upon another door. And we'll open that up in a second, and I will we'll let you know so you're prepared for it. There's going to be screaming in this, and it is screaming to high bloody hell as she discovers there is actually somebody in the house with her. There it is. Yeah, gotcha, didn't it?
Oh my!
And she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and he hightails it out the kitchen. And even though he's out of the house, the screaming continues. She's that petrified. Can you imagine coming home to something like that? And unfortunately, in that case, she did. And I don't know what's going to happen with this guy.
You know,
if they catch him.
I was sharing on the chat the other night that a while back, not recently, we have like a barbecue grill in the back that has a propane tank, right, with a hose stuck to the tank. My husband went out there and he sees that the tank's missing and the hose had been cut with a machete because there was a machete lying on the ground. They stole the propane tank and walked out. Can you imagine if I walked into the backyard when that happened?
Well, they were doing
or
it.
my mom or something, one of my kids. That's really scary. They're that bold that they just can, go wander onto your property. What if he was holding a machete when I walked in on it? I mean, you just think of those scenarios. And that poor woman, I probably would have been screaming my head off like that as well. What are you going to do? You don't know what this person is capable of doing, hurting you or whatever.
Yep.
And it's terrifying. So I don't know, like I said, solutions. I mean, we may, one side of it, this could be that we got to learn how to defend ourselves. That could be one thing. Like if an intruder comes in your house, what are you gonna do?
I got my gun buddies are online here and on the Facebook Live here, and I know there's I know at least one guy, Dennis Larson, who's looking at that, going, "Yeah, I'll teach you how to use it. Put the phone down. If you're going to clear the house, you clear it with a pistola.
Yeah, and
it might come to something like that where people recognize, these people in this neighborhood, they don't screw around. They catch you in the house, you're a dead man.
Yeah, I think we need to make them aware that we see them and we don't want them. Right, Dennis?
That's correct.
We need to make them, we need to instill fear in them because right now they're fearless, right? So if they see us collectively as a group saying, hey, we're not going to take it anymore and you guys better watch out, that's what we need to do. Unfortunately, we can't be the peaceful neighborhood that we once were. Unless we get, we get down to that
well,
kind
as
of
you
business.
said, and Dennis, you can answer this. We start thinking about what do we do about solutions. We've identified the problem. We've identified, allied issues that contribute to this problem, and the fact that there's the word I'm going to throw out there is impunity. They know that they're not going to be punished for whatever happens, and you all seem to be nice people, right? So I couldn't imagine that they're going to be walking into a situation where you might chase them down with a gun or a baseball bat or a sharp machete, and in fact they might already have some. And don't forget that these guys can also become defensive with the slingshot.
Yeah, Dennis was just putting that. Go ahead, tell them, Dennis, what you noticed.
They slingshot you?
Yes.
No. I got my own slingshot.
Okay.
But anyways, they I've seen them walking around just the other day. They're looking for some type of Y stick, the tangan. They cut them down and they start making their slingshots. And then I haven't actually seen them using it, but they have them on them. There's another story on my side where I went downstairs. Family was getting ready to go have dinner. This was about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening. And then I saw a woman. She was crawling to my property, and she didn't see me. And she was connecting her garden hose to my faucet.
Oh, my God.
And then before that, I was wondering, how come my water bill keeps going up?
Oh, my God.
And I went to GTA, and they go, oh, you might have a leak. Go check this, go check that. And then I said, oh, okay, I will. And then that one evening when this my neighbor, she had connected the water faucet, the water hose, garden. And then I went up there and I go, hey, what are you doing? And then there was two of them. One of them was looking out, and they both ran. But they still had the hose connected to my faucet. And I took it off and I threw it over to their yard.
Keep that. It's yours now.
I called the cops. The cops came, and then they spoke to the both of them, and then they came. One of them came out and said, "Hey, I'm very sorry. We didn't know." I'm like, we didn't know. Okay, bye.
Yeah, just got. I'm new around here. It's you mean that's not for me? They knew what they were doing. If they were crawling around, they were trying to hide the act.
Disconnected. They were disconnected. The cops said their water was disconnected, and I said, hey, they should have just asked me, and I would have gave them some water.
In the very least, I think that. But as you pointed out, you have at least one situation with your folks where they were nice enough to ask when they were told no, they still went and stole it anyway. Yes. So we've got it. We've got a real problem around here that you know of. Have you guys had an opportunity to meet with the mayor and the governor? The governor's actually showing up to some of these neighborhood watch meetings. Have you had a chance to sit down with Lou or Josh and the mayor to go over some of these issues?
Well, we're just trying to get all these facts together. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the best things they have to do is
don't wait too long.
No, we're not. We're doing it right now. We need that curfew to come out.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, as I mentioned this morning, front page of the Guam Daily Post, and an interesting story about the Department of Education wants to move forward with reinforcement of the truancy rules, and I'm going, how about enforcing the curfew rules that we have around here, because there are literally too many kids, and it comes down to this. One of these days, it's not going to. We're going to take you to the Department of Corrections, and we will leave you there until your parents pick you up, and then we're going to have a conversation with them about the protection of your children. Sometimes from themselves. 9:37 in the morning. Quick break. Ken LG is going to join the conversation in a sec.
Half a day, this is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. The Biden administration is sending another round of 4 free COVID-19 test kits for everyone in the U.S., including Guam. This means getting tested for the virus can be done from the comfort of your own home. To order your free test kits, visit covidtest.gov. Do your part to stop the spread.
This ad is paid for with government funds by the Office of the Government of Guam.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus to naktak, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tuman location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Lots of comments. Facebook Live is ripe with them. Dorothy says, Southern Pacific and Inigo have broken into, they were caught the next day by the cops. And the next day, they were released. 5 guys, 1 female. Maybe that's why it's not safe anymore, because they get the catch and release program here that we've got. Dave Duenas, looking for a job at the legislature, says, absolutely, we must instill to the criminals. They will be prosecuted. No more book and release, mandatory jail time, or incarcerated until trial. Otherwise, they will continue to commit crimes while awaiting trial and sentencing. Send that clear message. We need an inside switch that cuts off water to the outside faucet so water isn't stolen like it is when we're sleeping in the middle of the night. Joey Tova is an interesting point. Let's enforce alcohol restriction hours as well. I don't know to what degree that is actively enforced, but the other problem is a lot of these guys, a lot of stores will keep their beer inventory warm, but outside the cooler. And so these guys will come in, distract the lady at the counter, and while she's distracted, other guys will be lifting these warm cases of drinks. And apparently they know where to get ice. So they don't, they can cool it down and start drinking it until the small hours of the night. I think we've got to go back to maintaining that all of the alcohol is away from potential customers, so they can't steal them in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I just want to make a note. A lot of these kids, unsupervised, obviously, they're getting drunk. They're out there, and it's a bad problem. In fact, I don't know if you're aware, but even in the education system, the poor teachers have to deal with kids showing up drunk.
Oh, wait, remember the kid at John F. Kennedy about a year ago when they were in class. Yeah, I ain't no snitch. Whatever, kid's drunk as a skunk. There was another one that put his hand through a window at one of the schools up north. I want to say Benevente put his hand through the window up there. Absolutely crazy what we're beginning to see with these kids rolling around there, unsupervised, unafraid of the law, and it is a problem now. It's gonna get worse. This thing with the kid up at the skate park is our sign. Yes. It is our sign. it's something we've got to take a more serious approach to all of this. The other governor, Ken LG, is on the line. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. And that problem is going to continue as long as we have an elected attorney general, because we have not had any success with an elected attorney general standing up for the people. And I have to admit, Levin has probably been the worst at it. You know, I mean, he's taken the catch and release up to a whole new level. And we're the ones that are suffering. And it's unfortunate because when people who normally wouldn't consider buying guns are considering buying guns, that just shows how ineffective the justice system has become protecting the people of Guam, because we no longer feel safe in our homes.
No. I don't disagree, and I'll tell you what. If it was me and I was over at the legislature, I'd take a look at some of the existing permit laws and relax those things a little bit. I've got to get my new what do you call it? My concealed carry card. And in addition to all of the costs associated with reapplying for the card, is I've got to go and get myself. I got to go take a shooter class to prove my safety. And I'm going, well, you know, the costs I think are going to be prohibitive at some point. With all of the other costs of everything going through the roof, people might want to arm themselves, but might not be able to afford it. I mean, it's not like guns and bullets are cheap. All of the rest of the stuff that are supposed to prevent people from not getting their guns and bullets and training, etc. I think we need to find a way to eliminate that. It should be easy. We need to become a constitutional carry town, if you ask me. Rico says, buy a gun, but learn to shoot. Take an NRA class. If you already took one, Rico, I don't see why I need to take another one again. Another comment that's coming in here, and you can make comment on this. James Howard says, blame the $4.99 liters of vodka that you can buy at practically any mom and pop store.
Oh, yeah. That, and what was it? For a while there, they were having, the 44-ounce beers that were like 75 cents or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They never checked ID. So that goes back to, but the bigger problem is what we need to do is, take that old Department of Administration pad, put a chain link fence around it, and borrow a page from Sheriff Joe in Arizona, put awnings over it and cots, and then take all the arrestees and force them to live there with porta potties. There
are not in downtown again, please. We're trying to bring the Koreans back and the Taiwanese and the Japanese back. So let's not put the worst of our society in front of them. There are
they
ample.
Already did. They got the chain link fence around the old police department. We might as well use it for something.
When did they put that up?
Fines.
When did they put that up?
You don't remember when they had that chain link?
Yeah, they took it down.
The old,
they took it down. I complained about it enough that somebody came to their senses and said no.
Well, I hadn't noticed it.
You need to spend a little bit more time downtown. Now, there are ample places on Guam where we might be able to clear out something about the size of a football field and hand out some tents, some Boy Scout tents, and we'll put a slit. What do they call it? A slit urinal out there. And there you go. I see you go Memi over there, and you go and Masinik over there as well. And they said, but this is you're cruel and unusual. Well, you know what? The way you have been given a chance.
Somebody in your house is cruel and unusual. Getting your eyes poked out at a skate park is cruel and unusual. Getting a slingshot, getting shot by a piece of rebar is cruel and unusual. Yeah,
well, those guys paid the price for it, and now the guy that shot those two guys is paying the price for it as well. All of these things can be avoided. Our signs have been in front of us for now decades, and it is, I think, about time that somebody does something about it. And I'd ask the question even before COVID: how many deports did Governor Lulian Guerrero do? And I don't think there has ever been a clear answer on that. But when he was governor, and you fault Eddie Calvo for any number of things during his administration, at least he made a point of deporting the people who were given a chance to come and live in polite society and blew it. On the plane, goodbye, don't come back. And we need to be able to figure out how to do that. Number one, we need to figure out how to deal with people who are given the birth of citizenship, the gift of citizenship here, that have managed to abuse that as well. 9:45. Ken, I got to let you run. I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right.
Appreciate it. 888-825-5880-TALK. Well, you can feel the indignation rise up in people's voices, and I'm sure that it feels like that in the neighborhood as well. but simple indignation isn't going to solve it. Tough talk about shooting guys, when, just for being in your yard probably isn't,
Well, that's the thing that worries me is that more violent crimes, it's just leading the way to more violent crimes in our neighborhood. And that makes it even more and more scary. That again, they get bolder and bolder, right? And what if they happen to just find a gun on the ground and then start playing with it? And then, that kind of stuff can happen.
Well, we can make a bow and arrow out of sticks and a piece of wire. It's not that difficult to see this kind of thing escalate. They don't need to. They don't need to go shop at Bargain Tactical in order to be a problem. That's where we are. 9:46. Any other solutions coming to mind here?
Yes. Half of these kids don't go to school.
Yeah, that's right.
I see.
I'll bet that's, you know what? If I was a teacher, good. I'm glad they don't go to school.
Right. But then, I'm looking out my window in the morning. There's these little kids running around, and I'm saying, like, wow, aren't these kids going to school?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, they're not.
No, never mind. That's the least of our worries. Unfortunately, they're going to grow up to be just dumb thugs, as opposed to if you had any kind of brains, you'd be dangerous. But there was another point that somebody is making here. James says, "Let's put these criminals to work. You get arrested, you cut the grass, clean whatever is, get rid of all of the junks on the side of the road, et cetera, et cetera." But the problem, and I've talked to mayors about this, because that's what will happen. Is every once in a while they say, "Okay, we'll tell you what, you got to do community service," and they'll send these guys over to the mayor's office, and the mayors are going, "You sent me the dumbest, laziest people in the world. They don't know how to do anything. They give me nothing but lip and attitude. I'd rather you didn't send these guys over to the mayors to get something done." There needs to be something in the middle of all of this.
Yes.
So we're not talking about prison, but we are talking about some kind of punishment and community service that we can do. You want to eat, you got to clean that section over there.
You know what's really sad? When they get to that age, it's really hard to teach them that type of discipline, and respecting authority, because the parents obviously have at that point have not been able to teach them that. And the respect, that you got to respect other people's property, or in general, people older than you. We were raised that way, but they were not raised that way. So how do you take those teenagers, I'm going to call them teenagers, and teach them that? Like you said, if they're not going to school, not very intelligent, have no skills, and what do we do with these people?
Joke about a farmer, a donkey, and a 2x4. It's 9:48 in the morning. I'm sorry, I ran out of headphones in the studio, Dennis. But Leah will be able to hear. I've got Senator Jimmy Craig on the line. Even though Jim did not know we were going to be having this conversation today, but I did get a note from the pretty girl in the office this morning. Trina J. Said, "Hey, what are we doing? We've got legislation now that he's referring to as the Let's Get Guam Safe initiatives." On the line now, Senator Jim Moylan. Jimmy, what do you have in mind here? What are we thinking about by way of helping make Guam safer and just plain old residential neighborhoods, the kind of places where people want to live again?
Right. And we've been doing this since the 35th Guam legislature. We've been pushing this since then. So it has nothing to do with our government being behind because of COVID. I don't agree with that kind of excuses, and that's just what it is.
Well, they're going to blame it on COVID, and if that doesn't work, they'll blame it on the Russians.
There, right, exactly.
That's why we have a problem. That's why we got a problem with teenage thugs that running the streets in nice neighborhoods because of Putin.
But at least the Russian immigrants here are trying to do their help for Ukraine as well, and they're productive members in our society.
I saw that.
Other folks are not doing that and are hurting our community. We can see it more on the streets. Doesn't matter what time of day. The intersections are becoming more of those asking for money. It doesn't seem to be for the right reason. Our justice system seems to be very soft through our current enforcement of these different laws. Our public safety is saying we need more officers. We knew all these situations before, but the government has not focused on making that a priority. And so what we're trying to say is let's get Guam safe again. Where I don't think it would ever come back to the time when you just close your screen door and nobody enters, and you leave your windows open and nobody enters except for the mosquitoes. But now even if your doors are closed and locked, you have surveillance cameras, you got buzzers going outside your place. If you bring in one bag of groceries, you better carry both of them, because if you try to come back for the other one, it's gone.
It's happened.
So there's a lot, and we've been doing this since the 35th. like mandating monitoring devices for these sexual offenders. And we need to increase first-degree criminal sexual conduct years from 15 to 25. We need to establish, penalize, make it stricter for those that sell alcohol to minors, and then also establish penalties for these guys that these minors, or well, eventually adults, and a lot of them in that group are adults as well, for riots, disorderly conduct, and drunkenness like that. It cannot continue. We have people that are good people using our parks and feel unsafe. I came back from our talking with Ganya Mayor, Mayor Cruz there, right? Mm-hmm. He carries a weapon inside of, I wouldn't say, he knows how to defend himself because he knows what he's facing in his own village. And why is that, right? And then the police will probably end up arresting the mayor because he had to defend himself too. But we shouldn't have that situation on our island. And our laws need to be, they're antiquated. We need to strengthen that, because right now I feel that criminals think, oh, no problem, you're just going to book and release me, right? Well, I'll see you on the streets in no time. So we're not addressing those public safety woes, which your callers are discussing all the time. They're afraid of their children going out to the bus stops. They're afraid of their children when they get off the bus and at the bus stops, because you got somebody sleeping there with a six-pack of something in a blue can. Yeah. It has to be stopped. So at least on our side, we're pushing for these measures to get in place, strengthening our neighborhood watch programs as well. So there's more that we're looking at. We're trying to strengthen the law, give it more teeth, to help our police officers, to help our judicial system, just not let these guys walk out. And if they can't get rehabilitated, then we'll expand our prison. But something has to be done in order for these guys to knock it off.
Well, it needed to get done. It needed to get done yesterday, Jim, and I hope that you're successful moving that forward. And unfortunately, as I say, it always feels like there's two Guams around here. There's the kind of Guam where you got these politicians and these elected officials out there driving around in their fancy vehicles and hanging out top floor Tsubaki Towers, and they're all in their echo chambers, and they're all living in their gated communities. Well, the rest of us live in the neighborhood. We are in the hood along with these thugs, and it doesn't seem to be anybody from among, quote, leadership around here that seems to want to get involved. Now, I will give the governor credit. I'm aware that she is attending some of these neighborhood watch meetings along with the village mayors. I hope that is more than just political and optics, and hope that she is trying to sit on the same side of the table as most people that live in the town. But it is getting bad. People are working hard, damn hard, to be able to afford all of the things that they've got into their house, the goods that they're buying in the stores. They were talking. What is it? So you were talking about having the propane tank ripped off. Yeah, propane's not cheap anymore. Gasoline. We're going to start seeing people getting sick from trying to lift gasoline from the car tanks. So whatever it is that you're going to do, how about we end the public health emergency and declare a criminal emergency here on Guam, and start giving the cops all the tools that they need. And I'm with Ken LG. You get to give me an attorney that can determine what is cruel and unusual punishment and go right up to that. If we need to find a football field out there, yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy, man. I say the other Moylan, and find some place where we can put some tents and get everything set up. We'll come by a couple of times a day with food, and they'll say, "Hey, man, I don't have internet here. You're lucky you got a tent. You're lucky you've got a cover over your head, and we'll let you out when you've decided that you can live among civilized people."
Thanks, Ray. And I'll let you go, and I'll call back tomorrow. But we do have the initiatives. We're strengthening these adequated laws and stuff, and we're going to make it hard on criminals. That's what my duty will be.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to let you go, and you can listen off the air for Leah and her comments. 9:55 in the morning, and almost on the way out of this. I'm so glad that you came by, because I think there's a conversation, an elephant in the room that nobody has been paying any attention to.
Mm-hmm. Again, I know there's people in our group that maybe don't have they're not brave enough to come on the media and talk. And I told them in the chat, I've done this before. I'll represent.
Well, I'm sympathetic here.
Yeah, I just feel bad for these people that we're all living in fear, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, we work hard, like you said, for what we have, and then you have these people come in and they, you know, threaten us. They make us be fearful. We need to turn around and make them fear us. You know, fear. You know that they're going.
You're talking about politicians or thugs, both, right?
Both, I guess.
I don't know sometimes that they work for us. 9:55 in the morning. Look,
good point.
There was a time I used to joke around and say, "Hey, let's go to this bar." I said, "Oh, that's an ego. I got to bring my gun." But anymore, pretty much everywhere.
Everywhere.
I was getting some ice over at the 76 the other day. The one in Tamuning, across from Ball Scratchers. That one. And so I'm getting my eyes. I'm looking at these guys in a car, and they decided that they didn't want the trash in the car anymore, and they opened doors and started dumping out bottles and cans and junk from inside the car, and then put the car in reverse and drove away. And normally I'd go, "Hey, pick that crap up." But I didn't have the pistola on me at the time, so I didn't want to get. There were like 5 of them, and you just know that would be asking for a scrap with some of these guys, especially since some of the bottles they were throwing out were beer bottles. Oh, did I tell you it was 10 in the morning? Okay, and so they're getting rid of their. I'm sure there's video of these guys. I'd recognize the car if I saw it again, and I just go, "Man, do you do that on your island where you came from? Is that common practice for you to basically crap in your own backyard? Is that common there?" And I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not, and I'm sure if there was an aunt or an uncle that saw them acting like that on their islands, there would be swift discipline by an entire community of people. But they, I don't think, have that kind of supervision when they get here, and
That's true.
You know it's sad.
And that's sad. Yeah, you know. Again, we just have to do what we have to do as, you know, citizens, especially those of us in our communities that are stuck. I mean, we really are. And it's like, I mean, we don't need this anxiety every day. Every time it gets dark, like Dennis is saying, "Oh, it's 7 o'clock. They're coming out," you know. And then I bumped into our other neighbor, Julie, and at Payless today, I'm like, "It's 6 o'clock, Julie. I got to finish my shopping because I got to get home before it gets dark, right?" And so she's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. 9:57. I appreciate this, and a point that James Howard is making, I think correctly. The elephant in the room. Most of these crimes in the streets induced by alcohol, cheap liquor and beer that's available. Large distributors are untouchable. I say tax the hell out of these products and use that revenue to educate, upgrade security and enforcement. I don't believe in sin taxes. I think what we need to do is take a very, very careful look at just how many liquor licenses that we've got for off-premise consumption. On-premise, no problem. I got supervisors. I got bartenders that have taken the tests and have gone to school for this, so we can watch people drink. But I think more needs to be done by way of taking a look just how many places. You take a look in your neighborhood alone, in your neighborhood, on the way to your neighborhood, how many mom and pops are there, and every single one of them within 100 feet of each other are selling alcohol. So if you got a guy that's a badass behind the counter and checking IDs everywhere in one store, the guy next door probably isn't. Probably isn't. And so I think there needs to be a lot more by way of enforcement, distribution laws that, if they exist, have been ignored for a long, long time. Leah, it's a pleasure seeing you. I hope next time we get you in the studio, we can start talking about having clinics, getting the kids back on the courts, and meeting and mingling with some big shots
some interesting
from the sports outlets. Dennis, don't be shy. You come back anytime, all right? Yeah. So give me a recipe for a slingshot. Maybe we'll all get together and make slingshots and hand them out to folks. Hey, it's 9:59 in the morning, close enough to 10 o'clock to say it's 10 o'clock in the morning for Real Joe and Donna D, subbing for Monticello Tyrant, and Jerry Roberts with the Extra Point. My name is Ray Gibson. I want to say thanks very much for listening, and a ton of stuff on the table of contents as usual that I didn't get to, up to and including. Can I tell you about the big smile on my face that I finally got on Friday?
Yeah.
The Smollett verdict.
Nice.
And the Smollett
Justice
sentencing.
for Juicy.
Justice for Jussie is what they're talking about. What did he do? The little tantrum in the courtroom. I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. Like he thinks he's a big enough shot that he was going to be caught in with the whole Epstein trap. Yeah, that was funny. It's 10. Here's Fox.
Claims responsibility for missile strikes in Iraq that came close to an American consulate compound.
The attack near the Iraqi city of Erbil is being called by Iran retaliation for an Israeli strike in Syria. No injuries were reported. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman on Fox News Sunday said she doesn't feel the consulate was the target.
Very glad that our facilities are secure, that everybody's accounted for, that no one has been hurt or killed. But all of that said, this is great concern.
Deputy Secretary Sherman said, among other things, this was an attack on Iraqi sovereignty. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
President Biden is sending his national security advisor for talks with a senior Chinese official in Rome on Monday. The meeting comes as concerns grow that China is amplifying Russian disinformation in the Ukraine war. This, as an American journalist, was killed in Ukraine.
Some really unfortunate news to report from Ukraine, just outside the city in a town called Irpin, where there are refugees trying to get out of harm's way. 2 Americans were shot today and 1 killed, both journalists. That's as far as we know in terms of the information that we have right now and can confirm. But to give you a sense of this area, there have been many journalists